But some customers are now saying this year's design, or lack thereof, is a disappointment. Starbucks seems to be using fewer holiday symbols in recent years and topped it off with 2015's plain red.
What is your best life? Get that shit.
Welcome to another edition of Radio Gunk. 2324, some shit like that. We're going to start with our interview this time around and then swing on back to our weeks in review because there's so much to talk about there.
Ooh la la.
But we're going to start with our guest. Okay, hi Adam. How are you?
How you doing? Good.
Great. So we just want you to know that as a collective, we are very, very big fans of Radar.com, and we cite your show on a constant basis on that blog site that we all go to.
And how we met.
And how we all met, exactly.
Yeah.
And we just really appreciate you and appreciate how you love to put these little clips and items out there that a lot of other people won't do.
98% don't do.
Right. We feel that it's a great way to expose the hypocrisy that has become the Howard Stern show. So can you do us a favor and give us a little bit of a background on you and how Radar.com came to be and Radar Online and the whole thing?
I'm the morning editor for Radar Online, so I edit stories as well as write them. And I've been there about 6 years, since 2009. I came on pretty early on when Octomom was the big rage in town.
Oh, dear.
So I've been through a few cycles of this tabloid world.
Adam, my heart skipped a beat. I thought you said Aquaman, and I had to pause. And it was,
here he goes. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
sorry about that.
So what made you start doing all of these Howard things? Because you seem to be the only one that actually goes out there on a limb and puts all this shit online.
Well, it's not my intent to be a muckraker or anything. I've been a big fan of Howard since he debuted in LA in July of 91. Faithful viewer of the Channel 9 show. I went to his book signings out here.
Wow.
So I've really been in it through the long haul, since the 1-800-52 Stern days.
Wow.
I think that it's a different culture out there now, and, obviously he's made changes with it, but there seems to be a very fervent fan base, and, it's kind of like that line from the movie, whether you like him or hate him, you still want to see what he'll say next. I guess I cover it from the perspective of a longtime Stern fan, whereas most of the media will take at face value, who he's interviewing, what the big quotes were. And I do that too. I cover all of his big guests. There's positives and negatives, I think, to his changes. If I see something newsworthy, obviously I think Howard still has a very passionate fan base, that evokes reactions one way or another.
Exactly.
So
and I think it's
I like
negative.
to report on it.
You did a story on me once, a Zoo story, when I was hitting the shows and I was dropping that Zoo bomb. That's how it goes. Ben Stern would sing it. You always said you knew I was gifted, but you never figured out how much Zoo.
John,
And I read the comments on the bottom. And it was, you had to disable them because it was kind of like napalm. And you're doing the Lord's work, because I'll tell you something, and you know this, you're really grabbing the baton. TMZ won't touch him.
No.
He's in bed with Harvey Levin.
Big time.
I think,
big time.
And you'd have to know better than we would. He has interns and back office people that literally work for TMZ now. They won't touch. And I tweeted you a story about Tom Hanks' son, Chet Hayes.
Right.
Ski poles and pee holes. You actually started the entire rivulet of Chet Hayes stories. Entertainment Tonight picked it up. Access Hollywood picked it up. Every conceivable news feed picked it up except TMZ.
Right.
Now, what is the deal with TMZ and Howard, Adam?
Any idea?
Arm, well, first of all, Arm, I have to say I think you're the greatest thing since Captain Jenks in the way of telephone. As far as TMZ, I'm not with them. I have no, idea of what their editorial values are vis-a-vis Stern. they seem to cover different stuff than Radar covers. So,
they love the hip hop community. They love those hip hop, the Kardashians and hip hop. They love that.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they do a great job of what they do, but, we do something a little different. We do have a lot of subject matters that dovetail in terms of like the housewives or the Kardashians, but I couldn't tell you why they do or don't cover Howard. I've seen some stuff up there, when they get like paparazzi clips of him coming out of Nobu or, wherever. I've seen some. I don't think they completely avoid him like the plague, but I would have no insight as to why they don't cover him.
But there's no negativity, totally different.
So I want to go into a recent article entitled Howard Stern Hurt by Comments Made by Artie Lang and Stuttering John Melendez.
And we were all distraught about it.
Rages at comparison to Don Imus. And this was a little bit of a shitstorm with us as well. I mean, we were all commenting on it. You have well over 70 comments on it on your website, just with people excoriating Howard in terms of Artie and John being so butthurt by Howard, and finally lifting the veil on a couple of nice little tidbits about, how Howard reacted to them, how he was. So I wanted to play a little bit of Howard's response to it because we thought that was really interesting, just in terms of Pansy coming on and doing a little shit stirring himself, and then Howard going on a little bit of a tirade about, who he is today and how he's changed. So hang on a second.
It's just me and who I am and where I'm at now. And that's really what the show's always been about. And Robin quite graciously allows me to talk and goes with me on different journeys. And
I'm always fascinated by where you go.
That's right. This is it. This is what I got for you. And I don't like people poking me with a stick and saying, I don't like people calling me or talking in the press about me, about what I should or shouldn't be doing and how they're better than me or whatever. I don't give a fuck.
But they didn't create you.
That's it.
You would never have existed if you needed their help.
Right.
And I don't want anyone's help.
Right. He needs nobody's help. He doesn't want anybody's help. Basically, fuck you. And, if you don't want to listen to the show anymore, don't listen.
And he also said he hasn't been the common man for 17 years.
Right.
He
Do you
never
still listen
related
to him,
the
Adam?
common man.
Oh, I've never stopped. I listened, like I said, from when he came on the air in 91, back through the days with King of All Messengers and the funerals, and up until now. I mean, in my opinion, I think, honestly, Howard Stern's probably one of the greatest entertainers of all time, ringmasters. What he's been able to bring, he's a big influence of mine and the type of comedy I like. Those comments are, they're pretty strong. Artie and Stuttering John, they went on and they made strong comments of their own. So, I guess that was a Stern response, so to say, to what they said.
I know you're an impartial kind of guy. Did you agree with John and Artie, Adam?
Absolutely. I thought that Artie really hit the nail on the head in some ways about, I liked his analogy about Springsteen going on tour with NSYNC in regards to the America's Got Talent. Obviously, the personal matters between them when, he didn't call him back. Obviously, that's very emotional for both of them on some level. Artie, I felt, was really speaking from the heart. I don't think he did it to sell podcasts or, get his name out there for cheap press. I think he did it just as an ongoing storyline. John seemed a little more self-serving. He was saying he should be an inspiration to the stuttering community. And, I do think that he made some valid points. To see Howard welling up with tears at a stuttering comedian on America's Got Talent rings false in a way.
Right.
But, I think that John was coming from a more bitter place, whereas I think Artie was kind of speaking the truth.
I think Artie was sad. I think Artie just feels genuinely that he and Howard had a relationship, maybe more than what Howard thought they had, but that they had a genuine relationship where, they would go out on double dates together. They'd be invited to each other's homes.
Did they?
Yes. And Artie was a drug addict. Artie fucked things up for himself. I mean, we all know that. Howard happened to have indulged it and made it good fodder and good
And
comedy
content.
for
Lots
the
of
show.
content, yes.
But after Artie tried to kill himself, I think Howard
It's over,
just...
Donnie.
Yeah, it's over. And he no longer wanted that energy or that type of person in his life. So he effectively just eliminated him from his life. So it's basically going from being, you know, your best friend who lives next door to you to, you know, just never going past that fucking door again. I mean,
Look at David Arquette. When's the last time
Listen,
he was
but
on?
that's different. Artie was in studio. Artie was his friend.
bro.
Artie was his bro. He just eliminated him from his life. Now, was the story that the last time Artie saw him,
Yeah,
was
it
coming
was
out of
at
Robin's
the hospital
room?
It was an accident. It was a total coincidence they happened to be there at the same time. If that didn't happen, they would never have had any contact since
He left.
December of 2009. That would have been the last time they actually spoke. And Artie, as it turns out, and I didn't really know this until recently, was actually very hurt, and I actually believe him. He is a pathological liar at times, but
He's
I
a
believe
drug
this.
addict. Of course
He
he is.
said
We all
that,
are.
well, he said that when they were playing his heroin, you know, sick call-ins, which Gary was, you know, fetching off the voicemail, it was completely his mother and sister was sickened by it. You know, and it was like, it would be like if when Emily Stern OD'd at that Jingle Ball thing, if Artie was playing tapes of her. It's the same thing. And, you know, who wants to hear, what relative wants to hear?
Yeah, but you know what? You're a drug addict as bad as Artie was. You kind of lose all rights to be embarrassed by your behavior because you work on a national fucking show. You are supposed to be there on time, be funny, and leave after 4 hours. That's your only fucking job. And by doing that, you got enormous success playing Carnegie Hall, playing giant amphitheaters. You gain the benefits of being that person.
Yeah, but Monique, you can counter that and say he already helped tremendously with that serious transition. He fucking carried that show from
the only difference with those phone calls and all that shit that happened is that it wouldn't have been played to, 22 million people. They would have.
Oh, I know. I agree with you, but he has the right. He has the right
dealing with it.
I agree with you, but he has the right to be hurt by it, and whatever the rules may be. And Howard, as a friend, the friend stuff goes out the window. If it's fodder for the show, if it's material, and Artie became, like a punch, like a drug-addled sort of punchline in that way that they could just do, and he's supposed to just sit there and take it.
Oh, punchline and punching bag.
Jack, it wasn't just the voicemails or the missed days or the speculation, but it was also Artie's behavior in the studio those last years. That was the focal point of the show, from his blow-ups with high-pitched Mike to Gary. I mean,
who did he try to beat up? Who did they have to break up?
Teddy and Sal. Yeah, he threw a CD case at Sal's head.
But they love it. They love it. Unless you think that they don't love, they love those blows. You know how much mileage they got out of that on Howard TV and Best Ofs? Like Adam said, the focal point of the show, literally in the last 10 years, they're still talking about it.
And Howard doodled through it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if he made kittens.
He sketches pussies now. That's what he does.
But not icky ones.
He's the master pussy sketcher.
Only ones with whiskers.
Adam, do you feel the show has evolved for the better?
I'm a huge Jackie Martling fan. His act is one of a kind. He's not joining Mensa anytime soon, but I think he's so quick. He was really the nitro in Howard's engine, so to say. So once Jackie left, to me, the show as we knew it, the Jackie and the Billy West years, in my opinion,
They were, definitely.
Artie, I think, sad to say, but I think a lot of Artie's, defining moments came during that dark time in his life with the fighting and whatnot. I think he was just so starstruck and happy to be there, so to say, for the first few years, to be working alongside his mentor, Howard Stern, and his hero. And I think that's also why it hurts him so bad now, what we were talking about earlier. Like a lot of fans, I think the show was at its zenith in the early to mid-'90s.
Yeah.
Was still awesome through, early 2000s. He put a ton of resources into those first few years of Sirius to me, the defining moment was when Jackie tried to come back in 2010 and Fred and Robin blocked it.
Oh, my. I
That's
was
the
so
John Hines up the
pissed.
shark moment to me.
I remember that distinctly. It was just like Howard dangling the carrot to Jackie to humiliate him. Howard knew he wasn't going to have Jackie back.
Yeah.
Robin and Fred, I mean, they really humiliated Jackie. They had him come in. He didn't stay long. The fans wanted him back after Artie. And it was really mean to me.
Adam, let me ask you a question, getting away from Artie for a second and all that stuff. The whole Marcy Turk shitstorm from page 6.
Yeah.
What do you think about that whole thing?
I think the Post did a great job in breaking that story. And, Howard was pretty tight-lipped about it, kind of danced around it and said there was some personal tete-a-tete with the reporter. I have to believe, no matter what people say about Turk, that it's still the Howard Stern show. And
100%.
Right.
I think we're kind of grasping at a straw man, so to say. How much control could she have over Howard Stern?
None.
In terms
Very
of content for the Howard
little.
Stern show. It just
No,
doesn't.
it's not the control she has over Howard. It's just that she is the classic CEO who comes into a company to be the chopping man, to be the one who can tell people you are no longer needed.
Tom Chiasano role from years back. I mean, I don't, her saying he can stay, but he has to go. I think it's the Howard Stern show, and he's got the final say.
But I think there's a new philosophy that came with the entrance of...
Well, they're getting things done.
For the worst.
The gingerbread girl is fucking running rampant in there.
With the hoopty-hoop eyebrows.
Yeah, Adam, it'd be like if Radar Online hired a ginger fidget spinner to come in, and she's looking at, you've been working there for how many years? 6 years? And in 3 days, she's telling you what to do, what to write. There'd be something very odd about that.
She moved Gary out of his office.
He also needs a fall guy. So when something goes wrong in that show, Howard no accountability whatsoever. So it's either blame Sabian, blame Chiasano. I listened to a podcast with Chiasano, and he said that he had nothing to do with a lot of those, trip-ups that Howard was blaming him for. So Howard needs a perpetual fall guy, so he has no accountability. I don't care if it's Gary. I don't care if it's Turk. I don't care if it's Sabian. I don't care if it's Chiasano. It's never Howard's fault, and he's a perpetual victim.
So I have questions for Adam, though.
Where's Helen Kushnick when you need her?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice Jay Leno rep. Oh, my God.
What do you think the future is of Howard Stern? Do you think he's staying at Sirius? Do you think he's leaving to go do another venture?
To his dream job, he said.
Yeah,
he has a dream job offer.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch it play out over these next few months. I think that I can't see him going into the whole podcasting new media thing just because of his previous comments on it.
Right. Oh, he ridicules it all the time. Yeah.
He seems to look at it as a demotion. Plus, he wouldn't be breaking new ground. I mean, Artie has a podcast, Corolla. I still think he wants to be something of an innovator, and to follow, 100 people after the ground's long been broken is not his style. An arrangement where, he stays on Sirius maybe for interviews or specials, and they still play the tapes.
That was my theory, and I've heard stuff about Netflix that because they're actually videotaping this shit still. So why are you running cameras? They're running robot cameras, and they have all this stuff. So they're obviously stockpiling these interviews for some later date. There's a theory. I think he admitted to Netflix.
The last 3 weeks, actually, to me, have been very telling because he has never worked the Jewish holidays, ever. He's never on during Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur.
The Irish exit.
I feel like he's been making a push to do kind of makeup shows so that he can work out his contract with the proper amount of shows.
He has to.
I just don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me. And I feel like the shows over the course of, and again, I'm talking just in the last month alone, they feel kind of phoned in. They don't. They just.
Well, they had the feeling we brought this up a few times. They had the feeling of either he's doing it from the Hamptons,
right,
or they're pre-taped, or he literally did it and they're pre-packaged. There's absolutely no reason for them to even be there live. They don't even feel live. Literally could do those from home. Phone it in. There's no reason for him to even be there.
Well, that's what he wants in the long run.
And, he has this contract now with Whale Rock, Adam. I don't know if you know this which is what the Kardashians just debuted their apps with. They're under this heading now. They're already making millions of dollars on these apps. I kind of feel like he's going to do something like that, where he feels that it's innovative and it's maybe like a pay monthly kind of thing that he does for the fans, and he'll still make millions of dollars a month. I don't know.
I mean, how many marbles does a guy need?
Well, we're with you.
I don't know. I just, from what I've seen of him, I don't see him following anybody. I think, he's carved out his niche on Sirius, and I just can't see him. It depends what he wants to put out, too, and what kind of product he's putting out and so forth. I think a lot of the show, when they're not taking as many risks, having guys like Elliot Offen on the air, for example.
Right.
It's funny to say, but, I think the Whack Packers have decreased in quality.
Oh, please. Marianne and Bobo.
And the fact that you have people doing voices of the Whack Pack as opposed to actually having the Whack Pack
of
on.
Artie. He should have been pissed about that.
Everything.
A very passive-aggressive thing.
I feel like the show has taken a significant turn towards the bland in the last couple of months.
It's like he's petering it out.
Right.
He's done. It's pretty much he's trying to come to grips. I'm 62. I'm done.
He doesn't have to work anymore.
Of course not. But
He's not going to go out with a whimper,
Ego.
Yeah, but he's not going to go out with a whimper, though, Grace.
But it is like a whimper.
Right now it is, but I think he's going to go into a new venture and try his hand at a pay-per-view,
which will fail.
Type. You know what? If he has 1 million people paying $3 a month, 2 million people paying $3 a month, that's $6 million without even having to leave his home.
Do you think that many people really listen to him?
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
I do. John, what was your question for Adam?
Yeah, Adam, just the word marbles. I know you're such a rabid dog shit lurker. So I love that. And Tate-a-Tate. I mean, I jerked off when you said Tate-a-Tate. And I was already half-mast from Monique saying excoriate. So finished me off with Tate-a-Tate.
What was your question, John?
On Dog Shed, our own Jess on Crack started a thread. Who did Howard stop from getting work? And that was a big issue. Artie and John had kind of teased this. So they feel, well, they said, they know for a fact, it was confirmed that Howard actually blocked one of the staffers. I want to say, guys, what would you say, 2003, 2004, around that time?
Yeah.
That somebody had a really nice job offer in the city.
What a bastard.
And Howard clandestinely fucked with them, blocked them from getting it. Now, I got some choices here I'll throw at you, and you give me who you think. We got Robin, 38 votes. Fred, 12 votes. Gary, 40 votes.
I voted for Gary.
Oh, you voted for Gary?
Yeah.
That's a good choice. Artie, 24 votes. Benji, 28 votes, all from his sister. All from his sister.
Yeah.
Ralph,
I do too.
Cirilla, 3 votes.
Ralph ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he's there to service Howard.
Will Murray, 10 votes, and Jason Kaplan, 5 votes. And ironically, Jason's the guy I would hire the most if I had over any of these shitheads. And other 62 votes. So, Adam, weigh in on this. Who do you think they tried to pilfer from the stern?
It's tough to say. I know, he likes a loyal crew and he feels very simpatico when he's got his people around him. I could see him not wanting to lose anybody. I don't know if he would deny somebody life-changing money.
Yes, he would.
Well, he did it with John.
I'll say this. I didn't like the reaction when John went to the Tonight Show because from what they were giving him at K-Rock to what he was making.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I couldn't understand how they would say, oh, you're not going to stay on the edgiest show when, John was really changing his life for the better.
What do you think about Beth?
Oh, boy. You know what? I think she gets a real bad rap.
Do you?
From the Stern universe, because I think they're giving her a lot of credit, when they make the Yoko out.
Oh, I don't buy that at all. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Howard Stern is one of the strongest personalities that's ever lived.
I agree.
He is a leader, what she's doing, I mean, with the Instagram stuff and the charity, that's not uncommon among,
Come on, Adam.
people in the
It's not
entertainment
uncommon
universe.
for wealthy men's wives to do that
No,
shit.
but I have to say, Adam.
It's actually very cliche.
Juxtaposed against the old school, lay it all out there nature of the show, like the way they used to goof on Nancy Sirianni.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or I'm
Imagine.
Mrs. Wife, or Fred's wife, or anyone's wife.
Did that.
This whole charity bit, this has been around for 4 years. First they're saying $7 million to build this joint. Now it's $8 million. They're doing Beth calendars. Who the hell wants Beth calendars? All this shit.
A principal.
Why doesn't anyone call him out? I mean, come on, put some dough in, bud.
I think Hansy somewhat did the other day when he compared him to Don Imus. And
I love that.
He goofed on Imus for a long time about Deirdre having that cancer charity for children.
Yes.
So
Deirdre.
there again, he's trained his listeners to kind of see through all the vapid malaise of celebrity
Very
culture.
nice.
Now, when I think people see those traits in his camp, it comes back to him tenfold.
Doesn't
Funny.
come back to him tenfold. That's the problem.
What do you mean?
He has insulated himself
Yep.
with so many people that don't tell him these things.
Well, of course not.
That I don't think he gets it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly right.
Well,
And that's the
everybody's
point.
jealous. Everybody's jealous. That's
When
his
just a modicum
thing.
gets through, he goes nuts. I mean, that's like 2% of the negative. Hansy lurks on Dog Shed more than you do, Adam. So obviously the Imus comparison, he completely you hear Hansy talking Dog Shed points when he calls Howard.
Yeah, he
so he's
does.
on there, whatever his name is, I have no idea. But when a morsel, no, Monique's right. He's such a boy in a bubble. He's so insulated that when anything remotely resembling the truth, he goes nuts. He can't handle anything anymore.
But they're jealous. That's his answer.
Everyone's
to
jealous. Right.
everything.
That's
jealousy.
I mean, the show really used to be about just blunt, brutal honesty.
Yes.
So back in the old days, I mean, he wouldn't take any criticism. And, if a reporter wrote an unflattering story about him,
it's just false.
It's childish. It's stupid.
It's false anger. And now that we know so much more about the show and the reality of the show, all his anger was fucking false anger. All of it. I mean, everything that he has ever said has manipulated us into hating Imus or hating the people he hates.
I never hated anyone.
I'm just
he
saying he
hated.
wanted us
Yeah.
to dislike these people, so we drank the Kool-Aid and we disliked these people.
I didn't.
Because Howard told us to. I did. I didn't fucking like
I
it.
definitely
Honest.
fell prey to it.
I didn't. I have to say it. I really didn't.
But I think Grace
I don't
may be
anymore.
an anomaly. I'm just saying that as a
Probably,
general
yeah.
rule,
Yes.
he made us dislike the people he disliked. Everybody he talked about, I was like, yeah, fuck them too.
nah.
But I
Yeah.
think it was all
which makes
false.
it odd when Chevy Chase is at his wedding and Jackie's sitting at home.
I
that's-
know.
Oh, right.
The birthday
I don't know
show.
that.
How about Adam? Did you watch the birthday show? The 4-hour
yeah,
birthday
yeah.
show. The birthday he had his 2 months after his own
60th
real
birthday.
birthday. He didn't. He thanked. He didn't thank Artie for Christ's sake.
He didn't think
I mean, look,
anybody.
He didn't
They're
thank
all
anybody.
jealous.
It was
He thanked
completely
Marcy Turk.
disingenuous. What? No Billy West.
He think Marcy.
No Jack. They're not even invited. I mean, was that not just an abomination?
We're seeing a new phase of the Howard Stern show where the bigger the curtain is in front of all the taboo topics, the more we want to pull it back.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, you could go through the years and look at all the different instances where he was outrageous, juxtaposed to how he is now,
But that's where you come into play, Adam, and that's why I really want to thank you, because you are, you'll masterfully lurk on dog shit, and you'll pull these salacious stories, and you'll bring attention to shit that he
Masterfully
would never
lurk.
do. And I tell you, are you getting blowback from anybody? Do you hear from these? Because radar is pretty big now.
Yeah, do you get
it's
any
not
shit
a
from
little
the
shit,
show?
I used to
fringe
read
site.
you every day.
Yeah, a lot of people. It's huge stories are coming out of there. Are you getting blowback from his people? Are you getting threatened at all?
No, I've never been told one way or another what to write about or, what not to in terms of Stern stuff. Never heard any, feedback aside from, message board comments on the side or dog shed or something like that.
All right, we're going to wrap up Adam now.
Who is
because we have to
wonderful.
get to
Thank
our
you,
weekend
Adam.
Review. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're a darling.
Adam, let me think. You are my favorite hub editor in the history of NBC. Congrats on that Murrow Award. And coverage you did on Snoop Dogg's son, Cordell Brodus, and Russell Westbrook. And Kevin Love. It's a pleasure, man. It's great to talk to you, finally.
Great to talk to you too, Arm. Keep torturing Francesa.
I'll do Francesa.
Bye, Adam. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Leaves.
Okay.
That was fun.
That was
what a
Adam.
nice man.
That was Adam. The show for the last 2 weeks has been horrendous. Let's admit it. It's all been female guests, which I thought were kind of bizarre. We had Julie Chen and Sharon Osbourne in one day. Then we had
Monique, I'm sorry. Did you have a nickname for her? You called her like, oh my God, you called her like Les Moonshink or something? Les Asaki.
Yeah.
That was before you went on vacation. We were talking about Julie Chen. Hey, let's bring in George Takei when she's on next time. We'll have like a fucking the Joy Luck Club again.
Yeah, she can start this fucking Broadway play.
All I can think of is his feet.
Why? Does he have horrible feet?
Oh my God.
Really?
John, did you see it? Oh my God.
No, I didn't see. I didn't see.
Yeah, because he said he wore sneakers that were too tight. He looked like he was like, you know how Japanese women have their feet bound?
Yeah.
Well, he had bound feet. They were the funkiest butted feet I've ever seen in my life.
All right. So on that note, we're going to go back.
Well, Grace, I always love when you look at my cuticles.
Right, of course. And then he calls me Amish.
Well, I'm looking at them right now. Let's be honest.
Shut up, Howard.
Don't shove them on the couch now. I saw them already.
Excuse me, Miss Hughes.
Look, I just got mine done.
Oh, please, shave my armpits.
And
with
we
those
had
things.
Ellen, I think, the next day, and we're going to save Ellen for the star fuckery show that we
Can
do.
I just make a comment about Ellen?
We're going to come back. We're going to do like a whole thing.
Fuckery. Ellen's fucked up. She
Yeah.
really is. She's a psycho bitch. Anyway, they were talking about your beautiful wife, how we were sitting there, Portia de Rossi. Nothing came up about Beth. She didn't reciprocate, nothing. Anyway, she said, well, Portia tells me every day, Ellen, you're my everything. And Howard said, I wish I had somebody who would say that to me. Boo-hoo.
Really?
Also, but this, as someone who sort of knows a little bit about a history, comics, stuff like that, she said, and Howard agreed with her, that she was the first woman comic that Johnny Carson had sit down on the chair.
Right, I heard that.
That pissed me off. Obviously, Joan Rivers, long before her, so I'm giving her like a benefit of a doubt. I'm saying, well, perhaps she's saying in her peers that she was the first. So I looked it up, and Roseanne was the year before.
Roseanne definitely hit way before.
She killed.
Yep.
And Johnny had her sit on the chair.
Well, what are we getting at with this whole...
My point is that this broad saying, like, boring. Her comedy's boring. But she's saying that she was the first woman that Johnny said, come on, sit over
Grace,
here.
I'm in my second fucking REM sleep at this point. What's the point?
The point is she lied. And Howard let her get around. Get it? You know, he let her get away with it. That's it. She lied. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
That was like a 15-minute dissertation to just say Ellen, who will be part of our star fuckery show, lied about being the first person to sit in the Johnny. How could it possibly be anyway, considering that Ellen's fairly new to the game compared to Joan
that's what Grace
and
was saying.
Rosie
Like,
and
there
all
was
those other people.
I bet you like Paula Poundstone. Who's that broad that you brought? Rhea
I can't
Rudner.
stand her.
I guarantee you all those broads did
I really
too.
hate most fucking female comedians. I got to be honest with you. I was watching Margaret
Whom?
Cho last night.
I can't stand her.
Ugh. First off, she has a fucking pan face. Seriously.
Well, it's like the full moon.
It's
yeah.
like this
With
like
the flats.
the moon. That's exactly
Yeah,
right. Just
yeah.
put two little slits for eyes
Yeah.
and a little slit for a mouth. She looks like the learning center. Come on. Like she's just a circle with two fucking slits.
I don't get
understand her. And she's all tatted up. And
Oh,
she's like
nasty.
total fucking
Nasty,
fag
nasty.
hag. Like just talking to the gay guy.
Well, she's also a lesbo.
Well, Monique, between that and Lesasaki Moonchink, I'm considering calling the Asian Defamation League.
So
Okay.
who else did he have on in the last 2 weeks?
Jewel.
Self-serving, sanctimonious twat with fang teeth. Beverly
divorced.
Johnson.
Beverly Johnson.
Not the first black model to be on the cover of Vogue,
She
as we
wasn't?
all discovered.
Who-
No, there
who
was a girl
was?
the year prior to her, and I can't
Whom
remember what
was
her
she?
name is, but she was beautiful. But she was fucking full of herself.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's like, oh, darling, I never go out to dinner and not let a man pay. Like, she was just very that girl. And I hated the whole, nor do I even understand why Howard's core customer would give a rat's fucking ass about some, old time
She's like 62. She wrote a
bottle.
book.
Who gives a
Yeah.
shit? Maybe it's a Judith Reagan thing he's doing. Maybe
Perhaps.
it's a quid pro quo for Yoda's blind nephew who begs him to fucking Wall's book.
Everything. Between Lesasaki Moonchink and that, everything is wig pro quo.
God.
That really, ulterior motive radio and wig pro quo are really.
Say that fast 5 times.
I wouldn't even try. I know I can't.
You can. Yes, you can.
Well, you know what? And you realize, let's play the 6 degrees of sperm. Howard actually shares sexual fluids with Mike Tyson, because if you think about it,
That's right.
Beverly
That's
Johnson
what
had sex with
skeeved
Mike Tyson.
me.
Mike
6
Tyson had
degrees
sex
of
with Robin
penis
Givens.
separation. You're
But
100%
weren't you
right.
shocked about that?
Yeah, totally.
That he banged Robin Givens.
Wait,
Dude,
I'm more
bang.
shocked that Beverly Johnson said, Mike Tyson, young kid, 19 years old, if you win this
He
fight,
banged
I'll
her?
fuck you.
She said that?
He won the fight. He got on the next flight to New
Oh, my
York.
God.
All of a sudden, her bell is ringing, went past the doorman, and he's like, I'm here, ready for you to fuck me.
Did
and
she?
she fucked him. Yeah, she's a whore. And
what
then Neil Patrick Harris was in, which is just as good as being a woman. And he asked Howard if he wanted to host on his show. And Howard's like, yeah, fuck no, I would never do that for you,
Or lick your ball sack.
basically. And as it turns out, the host of the show is fucking Reese Witherspoon. So who the fuck needs Howard? He's such a douchebag. He does nothing for anyone. And meanwhile, he met Helen at that fucking wedding and said, hey, why don't you come on the show?
Who?
Ellen.
Ellen.
Did I say Helen?
Helen. Helen.
And so, they hooked up at the wedding, had the best time. So they did a little bit of that kind of bullshit. Then he had in, honestly, 50 miles of bad blonde road. Pamela Anderson.
Pam Anderson.
Oh, tough. That was
Yeah.
rough. It was rough. And she looks rough.
Did you hear that she said that Raquel Welch is her friend?
My idol.
Yes, your avatar.
My idol.
Your avatar, bro.
I love her.
She said that she was friends with Bridget Bardot, Raquel Welch, but Raquel Welch is feeling really self-conscious about how unattractive she looks. She would not let Pam in the house. She was having a bad day.
But what Stripperella Tommy Lee drum set did she crawl out of now in
She wrote a book.
2015?
Right?
Did
she write a
book? But who? But who's buying her book?
I think
Not
she,
us.
I think she wrote a fucking coloring book. Like, honestly, I don't even understand what the
come
fuck
on.
they could possibly write about.
Monique, how about from Roy G. Biv to HIV?
No. She said, kids, that's vulgar. She doesn't have
I
HIV.
didn't give her STDs. She's the one
not
swept
funny.
around with the goddamn rock
Stop.
star on fucking Sunset Boulevard. I didn't
Oh,
give her.
stop. She has... No, it's not HIV. It's that...
Fucking Dawkins.
C. That's not me. This is Grace, a.k.a. T. The cackler is the other broad. This is T. Grace.
Pamela Anderson's Hep C coloring book.
No, he called her HIV. And she does not have it anymore. She was cured.
Oh, bullshit. She looks like a walking fucking disease. She
It's
fucking
because she
drips as
does
she walks.
drugs.
She's disgusting.
Son, of course she's a skank. Come on. Who doesn't say she's a skank?
She's a walking venereal disease.
Probably.
Seriously. I wouldn't let my
I
dog
would get
lick
AIDS
her.
watching Baywatch and VIP at this point.
It's not AIDS. It's a Hep C. It's totally
Oh,
different.
God.
Oh, don't be so gross. I can't stand Pamela.
Oh my God. Her eyes are wonky. Her lips are wonky. Her tits are wonky. She's a fucking mess. Seriously.
She's a womp.
But the interesting thing is he didn't keep her in for a 2-hour This Is Your Life Pam
it was
Anderson
abbreviated?
show. No, he only had her on for like an hour.
Oh,
max,
gee.
which
Yeah,
is,
it was a little tough.
honestly, that's a rarity for him these days. You know, and what was interesting, John and I were talking about the other day, that show that he did the first day he was back, it was just a Monday, Tuesday show. I think that was the one with Chinky Chen. And
Oh, it was. Yeah.
we kind of felt like he could have possibly done that on the ISDN line.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people weren't in.
Yeah.
Nothing was
And
happening.
it was unannounced, too.
Right.
So you knew Robin did it from fucking the Jersey
Definitely.
Shore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that just as a sidebar, I was thinking that.
Yes.
And as I mentioned during the Adam Levine, I wish we had Adam Levine on, the Adam Levy segment.
I love him.
Would you stop?
I smelled that.
The fact that Howard worked on the Jewish holidays was a
He
shocker
had
to me.
to.
Well, yeah, so that was the
AGT.
discussion. He had to work these shows, and
Yes,
he
he did.
bitched and moaned the whole friggin' time
I'm doing
about
it for you.
how hard he was working. And by the
Wow.
way,
Sing me the blues.
I realized that a lot of the phony phone calls that are coming in are from this Chris Wilding from Canada. So how does that demean like the Richard Christie and Sal Governale thing? Like, what the fuck do they do all day?
I have
That
no
he's
clue.
using this Chris Wilding almost exclusively for a lot of his phony phone call content.
They're
now.
around.
He's
The phony phone
probably
call.
getting pitched the same shitty, internet shows and Tradio, and he's probably tired of it. And there's a law that you can't actually prank. So these prank calls are fake. They're
Right.
fake.
Obviously.
You're not allowed to play prank call. You're not allowed
Yeah.
to. Like, there's like the FCC passed a law, I think it was in 2010, so whatever fake shit he can concoct. And I just found out, was it Doug Goodstein, one of the fired. Oh, we should have asked. You know what? We should have asked Levy about the Howard TV people.
Aw, man.
Their bitterness is something we got to tap into in the future.
One
'Cause
day.
it's
Yeah, I wanna get
really-
them on.
It's a real thing, and Artie knows
Oh,
it, and John knows it.
As
Yeah,
they
we'll talk
should.
about that. We'll come back to that.
Assholes.
And then finally, he had on, really, I think, the one woman who is more in touch with the male 18 to 35 demographic than pretty much anybody else I've ever known, and that's Carol Burnett. So in touch with the zeitgeist that is, and nothing was fucking funnier than actually bringing up Lyle Wagner, because we had just talked about him the other day.
Gorgeous.
With those dazzling smiles.
Dazzling chicklet too.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting too.
That
So
Carol
basically,
Burnett,
that's
yeah.
who he had in
Yeah.
over the course of the last 2 weeks. But what was so much more important than the show has been, because honestly,
Big time.
I mean, I fluffed through all that shit, was the 2 AGT segments
Oh,
that I
my.
think we
Dear
would be
me.
remiss if we didn't talk to it.
Big time.
So we're going to play a little like Free Science Theater 3000 with you guys right now. We're going to walk through the original Howard Stern AGT farewell. Now, Grace hasn't watched the
I
whole
have
thing.
not.
John, have you watched it?
You actually were the first one to tip me off it existed. Like,
Oh,
so
okay.
I did watch it, and I'd almost rather play Benjamin's spoof on it.
No, we can. So let me walk you
Ridiculous.
guys through it for a second. 2 weeks ago, I think fucking Marianne from Brooklyn had called in and
She
asked
retired her
if
crown.
AGT was going to be doing anything for Howard to say farewell to him. Now, call me crazy, but have you ever seen a reality show where they do a segment saying goodbye to a fucking judge? Like, nobody cares. Nobody said goodbye to Britney when she was on American Idol.
Or Simon Cowell.
Nobody said
or
goodbye to
Paula
Ellen when
Abdul.
she was on fucking American Idol.
And how did Howard mock her?
Oh, I know.
Oof.
Nobody said goodbye to any of these
course
people.
not.
He was on for 4 fucking seasons. Big deal.
The ratings didn't go up. Nobody gives a shit
It was like a
about
bizarre
him.
swan song. So anyway, she calls in to ask about this. But meanwhile, we all know that after Ellen left is when he filmed this fucking thing. And those of you who don't know New York City, and I posted this
That
when
was great.
they did this
So close.
video thing.
Yeah.
Basically, if you Google where Sirius XM is walking to Radio City Music Hall, you will see that it is all of a 2.5-minute walk. It is literally down the block.
It's like the same walk to your house from my house.
Exactly.
Nothing.
It's just ridiculous that they would do this whole premise of him being in the limo and, look at the traffic. This whole man in the city meeting his fans, fist fucking bumping. So just like that. Yeah. So there we go.
3 years ago when I started on AGT, it would be really cool to be a judge because I think I have something to offer.
Yeah.
Like
he's ever been to Brooklyn, ever.
We're Brooklyn. He hasn't been to Brooklyn since fucking...
Look at the ring with the Liberace.
Look at those manicured hands.
This fat ass. She can go after me in a fucking
black
minute.
cop.
Look at the nose.
Look at the nose.
Oh, hosted down a driveway.
On me, I sent a copy of my show to my father. My father wrote me back a 5-page letter.
16. Still talking about his dad at 16.
These are the kinds of things that you sometimes say, gee, did he have to be harsh like that?
Look at Robin. Show the tint on the windshield. Look at Robin.
What's going on with the traffic?
Show the 5% tint on the windshield.
What's going on with the traffic? A whole fucking block. When's the last time you saw the police out there directing fucking traffic by Radio City?
Look at the hair.
Look at the hair.
Here come 6 other security guards behind.
By the way, let's point out he has a leather fucking jacket on. It's 96 degrees outside that day.
It's so hot.
Oh, pause it. Look at all those security. Look at that security. It looks like fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. There was 6 guys.
There's no way that taxi driver said that, by the way. They plugged that in.
Kind of who I am.
Selfie. Just on the right side.
Yeah.
Hey, man, what's happening? She said.
Yeah. Shook his hand.
It's got to be a black guy.
Of course it is.
Black cop.
Got to be a black guy.
Yeah, funny.
Look at that security. God damn it.
Yeah, there's Ronnie. Look at
There's 6 people he's walking around.
Some people think he's crazy to eat these, not me. The hot dogs.
Yeah.
Never fucking eat a hot dog. Look at him.
He likes Ralph's.
I'm actually.
They don't even know who the fuck this guy is.
The goddamn praying mantis. Look at
New
him.
York. Usually just rats follow me, but it'd be nice to have some people walking.
Was that Vinny Favale sitting on the phone?
It looks like him.
Is it?
No.
They want to eat their ice cream cone.
I'm
Get lost.
hiring from America's Got Talent.
Oh my God, he loves that massage.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
Thank you. You know what? The most shocking thing of my career, I was on a
Shocking.
show. Yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, the most shocking thing, I got paid $15 million to work 6 weeks.
You know where he got that
I'll go to a
from?
restaurant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're going to come back to the kindergarten shit show.
I'm like, oh my God. It's kind of funny to me because this never happened in my career. Oh my God.
$20. $20. $20.
Making sure the camera's not showing the other 6 security guards he has
Right.
walking around. Look at how that's panned back.
Such incredible moments on this show.
Nobody else said goodbye to him on the show.
They
You know?
hated him
Did I join up with America's Got Talent? Why did I become a judge? Because of you.
because of you. Yeah.
When I was a kid, said to me, one day
God
you'll be on
damn
live
it.
television from Radio
Oh,
City.
Beppy.
I wouldn't have believed you.
The little black kid. That bugged me so much.
Ill-fitting clothing.
I still
Matt
get
giving
choked when I
Stamos a
watch
hand
it.
job.
It's like the
John
dance of the fucking
Cavarto.
praying mantis with a suit on. It's horrible.
He is so homely.
Come on. Farewell. It was horrible. Okay, so the other thing we wanted to talk about with the videos is Howard at the kindergarten. And this one was kind of curious to me because he's so uncomfortable in front of children. I mean, people, but little
Anybody.
shit-filled snot bags. He's not comfortable at all.
I queued this up to be in simpatico with you, to be in sync. I haven't watched it. I haven't queued up. I'm not going to play, but I'm going to guess. I haven't seen a thing. The class is going to be multiracial. There will be at least 1 or 2 black guys. There will be a Hispanic.
Black guys, they're 5 years old.
There will be 1 Schwarzer kid. There will be at least an Asian, and there will be a female version of one of the other. And there will be an entire racial gap.
Okay, this is Howard Stern surprises a group of kids on America's Got Talent. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a studio. You know that.
Yeah.
Pam Anderson's crayon. Yeah, there's the black kid.
There's the Schwarzer.
Black kid. Redheaded.
Those kids are not in the same class. Ginger. Look at Ginger Griffin.
She's like, that was dangerous stuff. I like that.
What do you guys think about Howard Stern?
He's old. He can't see that far. That's why he needs glasses.
You can see your cue cards.
He's 105.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's so real.
No Chinese kids.
Oh,
So excited.
these are children actors.
Yeah, of course they
It's
are.
like Roosevelt. This is just like Roosevelt. Somebody kick his ass. Have the black kid get up and kick his ass. Punch him in the nuts.
I'll tell you why I'm grumpy.
Look at him.
Dad, read that cue card
You know,
plug
when I
out.
was a kid, there was no electricity.
Wow, really?
Really bad child actors.
Horrible.
Really bad.
Look at that Wigabot crane.
Horrible.
Button joints. He can't bend his.
There were
Look
no
at him.
toys.
No.
Yeah.
I played with my underpants. I would roll them up in a ball and play tag.
After he jerked off in them.
Yeah, tell him how you jerk off the baby's porn.
Yeah, tell him how you jerked off your friend Dr. Lou when you were 13, you fucking freak.
No. No.
That kid is way younger than the rest of them.
Really?
There's no way there's...
Model.
They have to have the
That's correct.
Oh, he was a model. He was a model.
Look.
Look at that. Like, he's got that button. He's buttoned up on the third button.
Oh, he's so funny. What a riot.
Judging in television. Go ahead, Violet.
Why won't Howie shake my hand?
Why won't Howie shake
They
my
like
hand?
Howie.
I'm going
Now,
to be honest.
why would Howie shake her fucking hand? Ever.
Howie's one of
Yeah.
those grown-ups that doesn't like children.
Oh.
That is a sheep.
Howard has a fear of fucking salmonella just from eating his chicken, and he's gonna touch any of these fucking little shitbags, these little typhoid fucking Marys that are in this class.
Well, they got the boogers blowing in and out.
I hope they all pick their fucking noses before he shook their hands. Asshole.
You know, this is like the NBC nursery they filmed this in. And they
Oh
put
yeah,
stuff-
Studio 1A.
Studio, right.
Who is more handsome? Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Who knows why I wear sunglasses?
So you can keep the arms.
So fucking insecure, you asshole. That's why.
From Howie's head bounces off into my eyes and it hurts.
They all like Howie. They hate him.
Where's the teacher? Where's the idiot that teaches
Really?
these kids?
It looked that way, but I did not kiss him.
Do all classes have that much shit on their walls? I mean,
Really?
it's been a long
And how
time since I've been in
clean.
school.
And only 8 children.
Yeah.
His hair is darker than these kids. Look
You're
at,
right,
look
Brooklyn.
at
In
that.
fact,
Yeah, I
I'd
know.
like to invite you to go to America's Got Talent and tell that to Heidi. She kisses too many people. Too many.
Look at the faces on
Who
them.
knows what it takes to
Bad
be America's Got
actors.
Talent?
Bad acting.
You won, kid. Ew.
Ew.
Bark.
It's more like this.
Ew.
Do this.
Oh. What does his daughters think
It's like the
when they see
mating
this shit?
ritual of manatees, of praying mantis.
Right.
Put more body into it, like this.
Nosferatu.
He's so uncomfortable.
Okay, shit.
What a riot he is.
Would anybody like me to sing?
Wait, listen to the
Let me
song.
guess.
Here we go.
His parents. Let me guess who's singing that.
Yeah, he's doing it.
John, I think you can do this song. What do you think he's going to sing, John?
Old man
You got it.
All right, let's see. Here we go. Shh.
Here we go. The bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain.
Oh, my.
Over the mountain
Jesus.
to see what he could see.
How
What do
humiliating.
you think he saw?
Can you imagine him doing this?
No, I cannot.
He saw another mountain. He saw another
Jesus
mountain.
Christ. I'm
This
embarrassed
kid's
for
looking
him.
for his calzone.
Picture the production crew like cheering him on like, behind the camera, telling him.
Oh, they were laughing at him.
Oh, that was amazing. No, let's just keep it. That's okay. First take was
Our
perfect.
favorite judge. Who's the person America loves the most?
Oh.
1, 2, 3. Who is the best person to look like?
right again.
Oh, that's
Kids everywhere.
so spontaneous. Children putting on sunglasses.
How old do you think I am?
I think Gary gets probably
42.
A little younger.
30.
30 is right. Yeah. Who's your
his nose is 42.
He has curly hair, and I like curly hair because I have it too.
Shut up.
Howard.
Shut up.
Austin's my favorite judge because he's strict and he's fair.
Shut up, Ginger.
Howard.
Shut up, Chubbo. Shut up, Schwarza. Sunglasses. How horrible. He should be ashamed.
Ashamed. I hated every one of those kids. I hope they never act again.
I hope not. They are really bad.
I hope they
Really
wind
bad.
up in fucking music theater up in like Vancouver or something.
That just occurs to me. That's 4 more minutes than he spent with his own kids.
Exactly. I mean, what the hell do his kids think when they see
spent
this?
the whole 2090s hiding in the basement.
That's what I saw.
God damn, that was awful.
Embarrassing.
All right, what else? What else is there to discuss? Honestly, you guys.
I think we said it all.
I think we said it all.
You said it. Oh,
All right, so we're going to be gearing up for next week's show.
Right.
I did want to mention how sick of Periscope I am. And Jeff the Drunk, I hope the tax man comes after him for all the shit he's getting from his Amazon gift wish list. Chalo. That's what he says.
Does he say chalo?
yeah, that's stolen from sitcom. Who used to do that?
Who did that?
It was a black sitcom. Someone used to. Good Times. Oh yeah, J.J. Walker used to answer the phone. Or the door, right?
Yes, he did.
That's
I'm gonna
Good
put
Times.
that shit right in here.
Chalo.
All right, so we do have an exciting show for you next week. So we are going to
really
back up, and it'll be really fun for us to do that for you. So we thank you for listening this week. Sorry if it was a little bit shorter than you wanted it to be.
We missed you.
We did.
We haven't done it for 2 weeks.
I know. I'm sorry I was away. And
How dare you?
I'm going to be away again in October, but it'll work out. It'll all work out. So I don't know what John wants to do for us tonight because you were so fucking fabulous as Alec Baldwin. So I want to thank you a lot for doing that. It was awesome.
Well, Monique, it's as always my pleasure. I might even rewrite my memoirs and add that in. Such an essential chapter to my life, and I call Neil Patrick Harris NPH, and I've been doing so since Doogie Howser.
Can I run my fingers through your back hair?
When you brought up when you hit pause and your broads got wine before, it reminded me of this song. We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. Oh no, we can dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine.
I love that song.
Na, 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 na.
I can't stand Prince. I hate him.
So do I. But he's
I don't
got
think
great
that's
tunes.
Prince.
I love his
That's
music.
Prince knockoff, I think. I don't
I
even
love me some Prince.
Wait, he's right. That's not Prince.
It's like a Prince doppelganger. I can't remember the dude's name.
Don't have to. Oh, Tom Jones sang that. Kiss.
Tom Jones covered that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't have
With that big bulge.
our
What's new, pussycat?
off.
Yeah.
The best of you.
Wait, okay. This is who sang it. You're not even going to know this. It's so fucking funny.
What's this? The takeoff of Prince? What is it?
Yeah, there was a lot of Prince, remember Morris Day in the Time?
Yes.
This guy's name was Jermaine Stewart.
I don't know who he is.
He looks like Millie, part of Vanilla. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Tell it, Richard.
Richard hates it too. Fucking shit sucks.
Eat all my chicken fried rice.
We're leaving you guys. We'll talk
Bye.
soon. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Right by the back door. Would you get my phone?
Do you need it?
No, I'm going to take a selfie or two of this free-for-all.
We have selfies.
Yeah, he's allowed to take his own selfies.
Okay.
All right, everyone. So welcome
Who's going
to
to believe this?
welcome to another edition of Radio Gunk. I'm just going to get out there right now that we are out in Jokeland. We're going to take a couple of pictures and we'll supplement this podcast with a few shots. But we're in, where are we? Bayville?
Yeah.
So we're really at the end of the fucking earth, to be quite honest with you.
There's like a big old hurricane.
There's a hurricane coming. It took us 2 hours to get here, and the water looks dreadful. Like, it looks like something really bad is happening very,
We're going to
very
be
soon.
stuck here with Jackie for 5 days.
Which is not a bad thing, providing he cooks for us.
You're not at the end of the earth. You're on the North Shore of Long Island, the Gold Coast of the entire country.
Really?
Gold Coast.
Maybe the greatest place in the world.
Yeah. So we had a choice because Jackie said to us, do you want to do it in the city or do you want to do it somewhere at Jokeland? And so we decided that we would come out to Jokeland and just kind of see what was going on out here.
And how kind of him to have us.
Yes.
I mean, really, thank you, Jackie.
It's not like he had anything else going on. Let's be
Oh,
honest.
please, Monique. It has nothing to do with it. It's like having us to his home.
No, it's
for our pitiful little podcast.
It's
that
awesome.
could. We're like the little train that could.
Well, kind of, but we
Yes.
can't. But
You're more like the little train that couldn't get set up.
Well, yes, in some respects.
or some men would probably say the little cunts that could. Because, yeah, that's what they like to call us on our podcast.
The cackling cunts.
The cackling cunts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's what they call us.
Wow.
That's us. So,
welcome to Jokeland. It's nice to have you guys.
Oh, we're so happy to be here.
Honestly, Jackie, thank you so much.
I fell in love with Monique when she came on stage at my show, and I fell in love with Grace immediately because she said that she was very skilled.
She
at
showed you
oral
her
favors.
tits. She showed you her tits.
Oral
She showed me where they were supposed to be.
The moment she walked in, she just dropped trow.
The last podcast I did was with two women. I had so much fun because of sexual energy, no matter what. So I love it, and thanks for being here.
Oh,
thanks for
we
having
love
us.
You
And thanks to Dana for causing me to be in cahoots with you, and you for causing me to be in cahoots with Grace.
And it's all just a big circle jerk.
Stacey and Ben are here because they aren't going to get married.
So Stacey and Ben, they're not getting married anytime soon because Stacey's a lesbian.
We're going to all bang after the podcast.
Stacey has a deliciously deep voice like Get Girl does.
Not at all.
Kind of.
Oh, she does.
I feel like that might mean that she has big labia. I'm not necessarily sure, but
I think she's
you know the way men with
I don't want to say this in front of Ben, but yes, she has huge lady.
Is she going to have labiaplasty? That's what I want to know.
They clang together like French doors. You know.
I think she's lovely, and I don't think she's a lesbian.
As somebody said online the other day, it looks like a grenade went off in the deli section.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
For what?
That's
What was
wonderful.
that? Oh,
She's saying fuck you to us.
oh, she said the same thing about me. Yeet curtains. My dear friend.
A bulldog eating mayonnaise.
Please.
Okay.
Well, you're off to a rollicking start here.
Freshness, Jackie.
Fresh.
We are fresh.
We are fresh. All right, sorry, Stacey, whatever your name is.
She's
I
lovely.
would just like to say that these women spent the better part of an hour getting set up, and I spent an hour biting my tongue because I didn't want to waste any of this sexual energy that's going on as they talk lesbians and pussy with
But you were groping me in the meantime.
I scratched your back for 3 seconds.
Really?
Look at that laugh, Grace. Look at how fucking loud that laugh is. And look at me, my melodious voice.
Yes, you.
My melodious voice as I
yes,
continue
darling.
on. So we're working on some new equipment as well. So if you're going to bitch at us about our sound quality, I'm just going to give you a fuck you in advance because
Why would you tell them that?
Because you
don't know. You don't know the shit that we get. It's awful.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna start with a couple of little questions for our Jackie.
Okay.
Last week.
Hi, Grillo.
Hi, Steve.
I love Grillo.
I love Grillo. So
he got top shelf liquor and baked potatoes.
Look at how you digress. So we were talking last week on our podcast about you, and
Okay.
And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that has gone over with you already from different people and different podcasts, and we didn't want to go there with you. And one of the things that kind of dawned on us when you left the Stern Show was that you were basically replaced by at least 3, if not 4 people. Like, your one job, shit stirrer, joke master, you know, guy who wrote all the funny shit that Howard could possibly ever come up with in his life.
And never does anymore.
Right. Well, you were replaced by, you know, that...
Now, by me not interjecting does not mean I endorse what you're saying. Yes, I wrote a lot of funny things that he said, but in all fairness, he was very funny on his own.
Perhaps
and Fred was very funny. It was because people used to say, I can always tell when Jackie wrote a joke because he laughed so hard.
Yes.
And the truth of it is I would come home, I laughed.
You'd laugh anyway, right?
I'm an equal opportunity laugher.
That's my kind of...
I would laugh depending on how funny something was. Robin was, no matter if Howard said I tied my shoelaces, Robin would go, I would laugh relative to how funny something was. So if I wrote something very funny, I always thought what I was writing was funny, of course, or I wouldn't have written it. But if Fred wrote something funny, or if Howard said something funny on his own, I laughed depending on how funny. There was many times I came home and Nancy said, you know, the funniest thing you wrote today was such and such. And I'd say,
yeah, not me.
Fred wrote that.
Right.
Or she'd say the funniest thing Howard said today was such. I said, he said that on his own. I didn't write that. And people are like, oh, I know he's knowing it's Jackie. A real lot of times I was laughing at what I wrote. And it was always really funny because there were times when we'd be going so fast that I'd write a note and I'd put it up and Howard would say it and I would laugh. But in the time from when I put the note there and he said it, I would think of something funny to say after
10
that.
times better, right.
So, and it was too quick to be able to write it down. So he'd say something and I would laugh and then I would chirp out the topper, but only because of the timing of it. And sometimes it sounded like I had teed myself up, which I hadn't at all. You know, I gave him a line and then...
It always sounded like you were teeing yourself up. It just couldn't help itself.
But the truth was that the combination of Howard, me, and Fred with 3 completely different senses of humor was what made the show so crazy. Because you didn't know if you were getting a punchline from me or Howard's broad thing, and Fred was from Pluto. So it was not only 3 senses of humor, but 3 different senses of humor.
Exactly.
So it was always fun.
Exactly. So that's what
now,
I'm
when you
saying.
say I was replaced by 3 people, you're not talking about different people that sat in my chair. You're talking about when they brought in the whole gang of whoever they are. I don't listen to the show, so I can't, you know.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Artie as the comic, Benji as the joke writer, Sal.
Now, you know Artie came on way after I left.
100%. But you know what? There was such a void between the time where you left and he came. It's not even funny.
To be honest.
Everybody was distraught. And you know what? It was a good thing for Artie to come on because Artie was a little bit more everyman, similar to you in a lot of respects. But he wasn't the guy throwing jokes over to Howard. You had that fucking fleshy manatee Benji, who is in charge of doing that, and is still in charge of doing that. And he's not.
You know, he had and nothing against him, but he had a hand in why I left. Because all of a sudden one day Gary said, "Oh, you know, Benji couldn't sit in on the news," and I had a little tiny area to work.
Yeah.
And Fred was next to me, and I would write the jokes and put them in the bin. But Fred would write jokes. So I'm writing my jokes, but then Fred would hand me a joke. So I'm not only am I writing a joke on the fly, but if Fred hands me something, I got to decide my joke or his joke. There were so many times, you know, I should have saved it. I'm sure there's somewhere where Fred wrote verbatim what I had written. It was pretty funny. I mean, it was funny. One time Howard was talking about West Hempstead, and I wrote Zimbabwe. And Fred handed me Zimbabwe, and I had them on the door to my basement forever. It said Zimbabwe in my handwriting and Zimbabwe in Fred's handwriting because it was such a classic example of it.
You're on the same way.
But it happened a lot of times. So I'm doing my jokes and his jokes, and all of a sudden, here's Benji sitting right next to me using the same little area. So I got to read. I'm writing my jokes, which is a fast thing anyway. And I got Fred. Now I got Benji handing me stuff. And of course, while I'm passing stuff, and nothing against him because I've scraped and clawed to get anywhere I could get, so I'm not going to hold it against him that he's trying to, you know, and of course he's signed with Buckwolf. So all of a sudden he's sitting there and he's basically doing what I'm doing. He's as smart as I am, you know.
He's not.
Well, relatively.
No, and he's not funny.
The point is,
I'm sorry.
A real lot of what he wrote was very funny, and I put it up and Howard read a lot of it. But, you know, I got to I got to make Sophie's choice between my line and his line and Fred's line. It was just unfair. And it was like, and he was in the way, and it was like,
but how did it feel?
You know, it's like somebody's sitting there. It's like they're putting somebody next to Fred and saying, "No, play this sound effect. No, play this sound effect." Or say, "Robin, no, do this new story."
That's what I
We
read
were
you
already a well-oiled, wonderful machine. There was no need.
It was like
for another guy. And Howard was like, "Well, nobody tells me how to run my show." You know, like I mean, he not that he said that, but it was like. I wasn't going to say get this guy out of here, you know. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to put up with this shit, I'm going to get paid a lot more money, or I'm going home.
Why was he there?
To threaten Jackie, I think.
I think maybe it was Buchwald's way of saying you can be replaced this easily.
Exactly.
Well, for whatever reason, who knows? It was absolutely rude. I don't think Don Buchwald ever had any kind of a sense of exactly what I was doing or how important I was. I'll tell you, the weirdest thing about me not being on that show is that every second I sat there for 15 years, Howard had fun.
Right.
It was fun for him and fun for me and fun for everybody. And all of a sudden, for him to make the decision, it was not a lot of money, but it was just like I drew a line in the sand for myself because I was shot. And I said, all right, you know, if I can make this, I'm going to stay, which wound up being weird anyway because I said I'd take the deal. But it was like, I can almost hear Don saying, Howard, this is your opportunity to get rid of Jackie. You got Benji there. He can handle the job.
It's a fraction of the price.
You know, and not even know how important, like, how could you be Howard? And I made it fun for him. If you got a job where you make $1 gazillion and you got to be there 5 hours a day, why would you give up anything that made it even a little bit more fun? That's the hardest thing to comprehend for me. You know, it's not like I had pictures of him naked with a goat, you know?
No.
I was worried that it could have been something as basic as that, what do I got to pay you more to hang around with me? It's almost like I can't play football unless I bring the football. You know, it could be that basic because it couldn't have been money. And that was fun. And I never said I wanted my name bigger or I don't want to be a superstar. I wanted a little bit more money to rationalize. And every time, you know, they said, you better not ask for more money. You better not ask for money. I'd say that.
Who would say that?
Every time you tell me that I better not ask for more money, that shores me up to make fucking well. Am I allowed to curse?
Of course.
To make damn well sure that, you know, I'm going to ask for more money. And I didn't ask for a backbreaking.
No, you did
Well, let me
not.
ask you a question,
I read
though.
what you asked.
Let me ask you a question, though. Did you ever go after perhaps, you know, we all talk about the fact that he makes some back-end deals with advertising dollars and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like you were always the foil for all the great advertising monies that he made.
At one point, Heineken gave me, I think, $1,000 a quarter. They took me in. You should have heard what they promised me. They were going to have site of purchase, full-size
Jackie's,
standby, you know, because... You know, it's funny. I worked at Rascals Comedy Club a real lot, and I was working there. I think I was hosting Rascals Comedy Hour, and Heineken came aboard. I never drank on stage after 1985. Rodney said, "No, never drink before you work. Are you crazy? You never drink before you work."
Do coke.
And no, in the old days he did nothing. So I said, you know, that really makes sense. And from 1985 on, I never drank a drop before my show, which was great. So when I quit drinking in 2001, I didn't have to relearn show business because I was used to doing it sober, thank God.
Yeah.
But I used to drink water out of a Budweiser bottle. And I'd be up there drinking my beer, but I was drinking water out of a Budweiser bottle. And then all of a sudden we had Heineken on the show. So I started drinking Heineken, you know, water out of a Heineken bottle. Yeah. The first time I went on stage at Rascals, 450 people sold out with a Heineken full of water. Mark came up to me and said, Jackie, we used to sell 4 bottles of Heineken when you did a show. Tonight we went through all 3 cases and ran out. He said, those people should be paying you a fortune. And they finally gave me a few dollars, but I was never in on any. That was the only time I was ever cut in on anything. And I never asked for that. You know, it was all part of the umbrella. I didn't have any complaints about my job. I didn't care about that.
But did you think at the end of the day, Howard just said, no, fuck him. Don't give him what he wants or just let him go away? Like, I feel like that's what happened. Well, not that it was Tom's fault.
No.
Because at the end of the day, it has to be Howard.
It's Howard's show. It's Howard, Don, Mel, and Tom. But it absolutely is his call. If you know, all the other times I walked out, He says keep.
He indulged you.
Or he doesn't say, either he says yes or no. It's not like.
Why that time, during peak years, peak of your powers, why at that time was it then no good anymore?
That is a question for the ages. There's a million possible, maybe he was worried that every time he looked over at his new girlfriend and I giggled, here's a girl who loves me for me. I'll tell you though, who knows? Maybe he told me he used to see my handwriting in his sleep. You know what I mean? Like maybe he wanted to switch gears. Maybe it was a good opportunity to get rid of me. I have no idea. And most people are like, because I was making more money than I would have ever imagined I ever would have made. But that doesn't matter. I believe in fairness. And people are like, well, you're making a lot of money for being on the radio.
Well,
so that's like telling Ringo. I always make the same analogy. That's like telling Ringo, you're making a real lot of money for a drummer in a rock and roll band. I'm not a drummer in a rock and roll band. I'm a drummer in the Beatles.
I know, but then you wound up being fucking Pete Best. Like, you didn't wind up being Ringo anymore. You wound up being the guy who was no longer with
But so what?
the Beatles.
So what?
I kind of feel like you were 53 years old, right? So this is a time where you're in a place
Listen,
where...
I rolled the dice and I knew there was every chance that they were not going to meet what I wanted. They offered me a horrible raise, then they offered me a little more, then they offered me a little more, and then they stopped negotiating. Yes. And they didn't call me back for like 5 weeks. And that's just like, it's insulting. And I'm the guy when I was a little kid who'd walk up to the bully and the bully would punch me in the stomach and I'd hurt for 2 weeks. That's my personality. People say it's a stupid move, but I knew I needed to get divorced. I knew I probably had to quit drinking. So I wound up off the show. I had too much free time, so I quit drinking. Me and Nancy finally were able to split up, and I moved into this house all at the same time. And it was a weird road. But, was it a horrible decision? Was it a great decision? Who knows? I was very lucky. God, I might have been killed a week later, head-on collision from drinking too much. Who knows?
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Please.
I'm done.
No, I just want to ask you this. Why did you not use Buchwald? Because that's one of Howard's things that he could have used Buchwald. Why didn't he use Buchwald? Did you think that he would not have your best interest at heart? Just
to me, that was so logical. And Don Buchwald had Howard and Robin and Fred. And I started in 1986. We went to mornings. He said, "I got good news for you. Don's going to represent you." And I said, "No, he's got Howard. What's left over after Howard goes to Robin. What's left over after Robin goes to Fred. And what's left I'm the fourth bird in line for a worm."
Goes to Java, the dog. What's left over?
Now bad.
My cousin told me that an agent couldn't have two players on the same baseball team.
Right.
Because, if you want Mantle, you got to hire Billy Martin. How does Howard make $1 gazillion, and how does Buchwald turn to Fred and say, "We just don't have the money"? I just don't. It seems to me like such a conflict, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but
I don't think so.
Were you the one who came out with the term marbles? Because we use that all the time online. Marbles.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
Howard hoards the marbles. It's all his, and he...
No. The thing is like the guy who has the dream where he's holding all the marbles and one marble gets away and he goes running for the other marble and drops them.
The Moonies.
Everything he gets, he absolutely deserves. And I understand the whole thing. I just don't understand people thinking I'm crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I made a lot of money, more money than I'd ever make doing anything else, and people say you're crazy. But, that's what I chose to do.
But at the end of the day, like I was saying to begin the whole podcast, then all of a sudden we take in Artie making $750 and Benji making $150, and then fucking Baba Booey making over $1 million.
Yeah, but it's 10 years later.
I know.
No, that wasn't 10 years.
It's 15 years later.
But this was years ago.
Yeah, this was years ago.
How long has it been, Artie? 5 years?
5 years that Artie hasn't been on?
Yes.
Yeah, probably about 5 years.
So he was making $750. He saw that Baba Boo.
But that's not where he started. I think.
I think he started there.
No, nowhere near there.
You were there for years, and you didn't ask for anything even near that. And I was pissed when I was reading that today. And Artie was like shocked that Gary made $1 million.
Yeah, he saw his paycheck one day.
Yes, you were such a contributor You made me laugh.
I really think that Howard thought that I was in no way essential to the broadcast.
He did.
You know,
it was to be spiteful, to show you. No.
But do you think, though?
I mean, I really don't. You know what? There could be some who knows? Maybe Beth said, Howard, you know what? I think Jackie has bad breath. Why don't you get who?
I do believe she just went.
No, not. I didn't mean to. Nothing again. So who knows?
No, I have questions.
In his heart of hearts, there had to be, because 2 months later, I called Howard and my lawyer called Tom and said, listen, Jackie doesn't like the idea of breaking up the show. He'll take the deal. It's still on the table. And Howard said, thanks. We'll get back to you. And Tom said to Larry, thanks. We'll get back to you. And we're still waiting for a phone call 15 years later, which to me, it was very odd, the way I left was the way I left every time. Like, they hadn't called back or returned a call in 5 weeks. So me and my lawyer met with Tom on a Wednesday, and Larry said, listen, we're at a standstill here. And Tom said, we haven't got another penny. And Larry said, okay, then I'm not going to have, Jackie's not going to come in Monday. And Tom said, all right, I think you're making a big mistake. And I said, seriously, Tom, I think you guys are making a mistake too. And he said, all right, let's agree to disagree. And I said, you make sure everybody knows I'm not going to be there. So, of course, on Monday, Howard's like, where's Jackie? And Robin's going, oh, he left you high and dry again, which absolutely was not the case.
Well, and then they also said you sent an email. Huh? You just sent an email. You didn't even call. You didn't even have the balls to call. You just sent an email.
No, Howard had always said to leave him out of any negotiations. In fact, it was very weird for me to call him and say, listen, I've agreed to take the deal that was on the table. Usually I wouldn't even do that. Larry would have just called Tom. He always said he didn't want to be any part of it. And I sent him an email and said, listen, I think it was that Monday night. He absolutely knew I wasn't going to be there. And they played like they didn't know that, which made the millions of fans think that Jackie just left them high and dry, which I had never, ever done.
Yeah.
I had always said I wasn't coming in, and Tom had always told Howard. And when she said, oh, he did it to you again.
Yeah, right. That pissed me off.
But, Jackie, we all drank the fucking Kool-Aid. And Grace loves to always be the dissenting voice in this.
I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
But, we always drank the fucking Kool-Aid. We were like, Jackie's being a scumbag. Jackie's being a dick. Jackie needs more money. Jackie's holding out again. Jackie's doing this. Jackie's doing that. And it's because we paid attention to what he said and we listened to him.
I listened to him.
And we thought that you fucked them over. It's like, why is he the only holdout? Why is he the guy who's,
Well, do you understand I'm the only one that ever asked for more? Yes. So I look like a bad guy.
And how dare you?
And how dare I?
So did you leave?
I love Fred, but I would bet in 30 years, Fred has never said,
no,
I want more.
Never.
I can't see him going and saying to Don, and I love him, and I don't mean that disparaging.
They all ride the wave. That's it. And you know what? God bless them that they can do that. And so were you fired or did you leave? What actually is it? Did they say, we don't want you back, no more negotiations?
They never called back.
So that meant, don't come in.
They just never...
Yeah, so that meant...
So then
that meant they fired him.
It was the last day before we went on vacation in December 2000 or whatever it was. Howard's contract was up on December 31st, and we were going on vacation December 14th or something like that. That day, he called me and said he didn't have a deal. He wasn't continuing his contract. Nobody remembers that. It looked like he was done at K-Rock. And he called me in 2 weeks before his contract was up and says, Jackie, it looks like I'm working things out with Mel, so you should set your deal. Tom had cancer, and Tom went away with his wife for 2 weeks to Paris. And I said, Tom, go to Paris and have fun, and we'll work on this when you get back. And then I sat there working without a contract until March 1st, like over 2 months. I came in and did my job and did everything right. And
did everybody else have a contract at that point, or was it just you holding out?
When Howard signed, they all signed.
Okay.
They were a group. I don't know that, but I know that.
Right.
When Howard signs, that means
everyone
Howard,
signs.
Robin, and Fred are all signed.
Because they are with Buffalo.
And Gary worked for the station, so I was a lone wolf, an independent contractor. And after like the second week in January, we never we went back and forth a couple times, and they just did not return a call.
So did you actually work for the station or work for Howard? Were you like 112 Productions or?
No, I got paid by the station.
Okay.
I was an independent contractor. And then after, whether it was 4 or 5 weeks, however long, of no communication, that's when I didn't go back in.
And that was it. So, okay, so let's cut to that day before he left K-Rock for forever. And you were one of the last guests he had on.
You know what? They asked me to come on, and I was like, you know
How
what?
come?
Am I going to go in there and get beat up?
But wasn't this?
And then I said, you know what? Maybe it'll be fine. So I went there, but I actually got up in the morning and worked out. I wanted to be in good head. And I went in there, and it was one of the most enjoyable hours I ever spent.
Was Artie there, or was this after Artie had left?
No, Artie. No. This is before he left K-Rock.
Oh,
so Artie hadn't left K-Rock.
Because
Artie
I have
left
another
after
one
Sirius.
I want to discuss with Jackie.
No, but
hold on. Who?
Here you go.
Was Artie there yet? Yes.
Artie must have been there already.
So
Artie was in K-Rock.
enjoyable, but there was another one I want to talk.
All I know is I went in there
because
sat there, and I've never sat there as a guest before, and I sat there, and it just felt so warm, and it felt so nice because I don't care what anybody says. When Howard and Robin and Fred and me are in the same room, it just clicks. It's like even when I used to call up on the phone. Now maybe it's in my mind from all the years, but I call on the phone, we click right into action. And I walked in and sat there, and I swear to you, Gary walked in and sat down. And you probably could have heard this over the air because I looked at Gary and I looked over at Howard and he smiled so broadly, and I said, I will never fail to be entertained by that mouth.
By that fucking lips covering the teeth.
And Howard went fucking nuts.
And did he have bad breath? That's what I want to know.
It was just so much fun.
I kind of felt like they were slightly like the mean girls to you. You came in, you had lost a lot of weight. You looked fucking fabulous.
Oh, yeah. They came in and said, well,
you look like an AIDS victim. You look like you had cancer. You might be dying.
Oh, yeah.
You're very old now. And
it's the best I've ever looked. So,
best you ever fucking looked. I thought you
of course they're going to say that,
But can I ask you about this?
No.
Jackie, the last visit.
You don't have to ask him if you can ask a question.
Right,
you can actually just ask a question.
I'm asking the question.
Can I have the hamburger with french fries on the side? No, you cannot have the hamburger with french fries on the side.
I'll have a hamburger. Ask that question. I'll have a hamburger.
I love when people ask the question as opposed to just ask.
Now you shut up.
I know. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, bitch. All right, Jackie. When you were there the last time.
She just grabbed my ball.
He just put my hand on his package.
Artie left. There was this.
He seems like he might be Jewish because it was kind of small. All right, go ahead.
Jackie has a beer can thick cock. Believe me. Anyway.
That's what I told her.
You told her.
Yeah, yes.
Go, Grace. Go, Grace.
All right. Anyway, the last time you were on the show, I was really excited about it. Artie had left. There were so many people saying, bring back Jackie, bring back Jackie. I was one of them. You came into the show, and, Howard.
This is when he's on Sirius.
Right.
Oh, you're going way far.
Jackie.
I had so many questions in between. Yeah, go ahead.
But this is one that I'm just talking about him being there after he had left. And Artie had left. And people were saying, bring back Jackie, bring back Jackie, bring back Jackie. And I was one who said, bring back Jackie.
Bring back Jackie.
I mean, it was like the chugga-lugga choo-choo. We did. I wanted Jackie back. Yes. So Jackie came in. I was waiting. I was excited about you coming back.
Yeah, and what happened?
I felt Howard was dangling a carrot to Jackie. And
what kind of carrot are you talking?
Give me the context of what happened during that.
The bring back Jackie. That he was like, well, people are saying bring back Jackie. And then Robin and Fred were kind of fresh. And I thought they treated you very rudely. They didn't keep you on for long. Then when you left, Howard said, well, I would maybe bring back Jackie. And Fred said, never. And then Robin said, oh no.
Somebody said she said, if you bring him back, I'll quit.
I'll quit.
Exactly.
That's exactly what she said.
I was so pissed. And I felt that they were fucking with you big time. And it was like...
It's so understandable.
Yeah, but it was...
No,
not for us, the listener. Not for the listener.
Because you don't think about it. The day I left, Gary and Robin and Fred went on vacation. There's been nobody to fuck with them since the day I walked out.
Nobody.
Of course
Nobody.
they don't want me there.
Fucking mates. Neither
I'm
did
gonna
Howard.
say Fred's from Pluto. I'm gonna say look at the size of Gary's ass. Robin's gonna pontificate, and I'm gonna go. Ugh.
And what about?
Because that was fun. It was funny, and it was always.
It was
and then they
fucking fun.
would attack me, and that was the.
That was the fun of the show, and then that went away. That all went away.
But so they're doing a different
You
type
had the
show, which
balls.
is fine. But
no, it's not fine.
It isn't, because when Jackie, you would have also said to Howard with his little bimba, I'm saying it, you're not, that you would make fun of Howard perhaps.
Oh my God,
with
you would
his
be
30-year younger.
But that's what Sal.
I don't want to be
that's
famous.
that's what Sal came in to be. Sal came in to be the low-priced shit stirrer
Listen, I don't
Jackie
know.
was.
I don't listen,
Because-
but I understand why. Fred, as far as I know, Fred is still my dear friend.
Is
I
he?
don't know if
Have you
Robin
spoken
hates.
to him?
Huh?
Have you spoken to him?
We've gone to dinner, not dinner. We've gone to lunch a couple times. You know, he's
Recently?
my pal. It's for the air.
What about Robin? Did you see her after the cancer?
I only saw her at, the Christmas parties. And of course she'd say, oh, we got to get together and have lunch, But of course she wouldn't, she's
Robin.
She's Robin.
Yeah,
She's Robin.
She's Robin.
She's Robin.
And
That's all
who
you can
cares?
say.
But,
She's a curious
they
creature.
just...
She's not your true
It was my job to break balls, and
you did it grandly. And it's
So-
very
So I
much
wanna
meant.
but that makes total sense if they'd say don't bring him back. That makes total sense. to
Politically
me.
correct.
I rarely sit and go on and on about this, but I haven't done it in a while, and I really don't mind this. I didn't know we're going to talk, 24/7 about Howard, but I really don't mind it.
Why would you?
Because you guys
This is
seem like
fun.
you're giving me, letting me have my voice.
We want you to have your voice. We love you.
This is
You
what
know,
it's all about.
You have so many fans, Jackie. I mean, I didn't know the Billy West era. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, she never listened back
I
then.
never did.
Yeah.
I listened. Maybe it was just before. When did Billy leave? Just before Private Parts?
I don't know. I don't know the
started
history.
listening.
I don't know the timeline.
loved Jackie.
I'll tell you, the most flattering thing is I get these emails. I should save them. I don't. But once in a while I get an email from somebody that says, I started listening to Stern in 2008 or 2006.
You weren't there.
Right. And you've become my favorite on the show.
Right, because they don't get. They didn't
No,
realize.
because
They don't realize
and
that.
they listen to the old show.
They're
I mean, I
listening
don't
to-
get 15 a day, but I get one once in a while, and that's as flattering as anything can be.
Jackie, you made me laugh.
Well,
You
let me. I
laughed,
have
made me
questions. I have
laugh.
so many questions, though.
And
So
I loved how you fucked with them.
yeah,
You
of
were the
course.
only one who could get away with it. And
So-
it made me laugh.
Could you or do you think that the show of today or the Howard of today is somewhere where you would fit in?
I have never, ever listened to it.
Well,
Nobody
you
believes
had
it.
to. You had Jackie's Joke Hunt. You had to listen. You had to have series. You had to have a subscription. I mean,
I've
you had
had
a show.
Sirius since it started. I
And you-
had XM before there was Sirius.
So why don't you listen? I'm just curious. It's on repeat all fucking day long.
No desire. I've never even listened to repeats to hear myself. Or I honestly, and nobody, I don't care if anybody, I have never listened to it. If I listened to it and made me laugh, it would make me sad. If I listened to it and it was me on there being funny and it made me laugh, there's no upside to listening to it. What am I going to do? Say, well, I would have said this. I played with the idea, what, I should listen in the morning. And when I think of something that I would have written, I should tweet it.
Right.
Because that'd be like I was
Right, it'd be
sitting there.
super funny.
And it'd be so fun. But that's, that's leaning on them. They do the whole thing. Jackie came crawling to Howard for a job. I don't know if you know that story. There was a guy named Phil Iazetta who did this great show at noon on Sirius before Howard got there. There's a whole story. I was supposed to be the voice of Raw Dog. And my good friend Toby Ludwig he's a lawyer, and we had a contract. And it wasn't signed, but I had a contract to make a lot of money to be the voice of Raw Dog on Sirius. And then they called us up and said, listen, the deal's off the table because we think Howard Stern's coming to Sirius. And I said to Toby, why don't they just be honest and say, look, we're not interested in having Jackie? Because I didn't think there was a way in hell that Howard would ever go to Sirius or to satellite radio, because the whole show is about, about dancing around the rules. And if there's no rules, it's not going to be as funny.
Right.
So I really thought, and then all of a sudden I'm on, I'm going in there and I'm sitting and Phil had a show called Not Comedy, whatever it was, and people called in like you'd call in to request songs. but they call in to request comedians. And almost anybody they'd ask for, I had a story about. So I went on with him every once in a while, and we had a lot of fun sitting there. They play some Red Fox. Oh, I tell you, Red Fox. I tell, play this guy. Oh, Sam Kinison. Oh, let me tell you this. And we were friends. And then, sure enough, Howard Stern comes to Sirius XM. Who knew? Wow. And he did. So at least they were telling the truth. So I'm in there with Phil one day. And, of course, as they were building the studio, everybody wanted to take me back there and show me the studio as it was being built. And then I came out of working with Phil one day, and Gary's standing there. He said, hey, you want to come see the studio? And I couldn't tell him, I've seen it a million times already, because then they said, well, they try to figure out who had showed it to me, which was a million different people. So he took me back and he showed me the Stern studio. It was really great. And then we went out the other door. And Tim Sabian's standing there. I said, hey, Tim, what are you doing here? He said, oh, I'm running Stern channels. I said, nice to see you. He said, hey, how come you don't have a show on Sirius XM? On Sirius. There was no XM yet.
Yeah.
I said, nobody ever asked me. He said, well, you should have a show. So I said, yeah, let's do a show. And then it kind of dragged on. And then they said, you should talk to Howard. So me and Howard went to dinner. And then it became the story that Jackie begged Howard for a job, and he wound up back on Sirius. So then I wound up with they were trying to figure out what's going on. And finally I just went in there and I sat with Tim. I said, look, I looked at this thing. There was nothing Tuesday at 7 o'clock. I said, right there, 7 o'clock Tuesday. Put us right there once a week. And
Jackie's Joke Hunt.
Boom. And all of a sudden it was Jackie's Joke Hunt.
I was just curious why that's the show that you chose to develop. I mean, we all know you for doing the one-liners and doing the jokes and stuff.
That's what I wanted to do.
Could you not have taken it just a step forward and maybe... I know there was that whole Pat Cooper thing that went down with you having him on as a guest and being all pissed.
That's the kind of shit that I just did not want anything to do. I guess he had gone in there and written something on the wall that I had no idea of. Yeah. And they called me up and said, you can't have Pat on the show. And I had to call Pat and say, listen, I don't want, because I didn't want to lose my show.
But why couldn't you have Pat on the show? What was the problem with that?
Because he talked
because he wrote Howard Stern is full of crap or something on the wall.
So he was no longer part of the Howard show, so he couldn't be on Jackie's show.
He said that Howard's a Hamptons phony. He said all that shit.
And so they said you can't have it. And I didn't want to lose my show. And I guess if I was a real man, I'd have said I quit. But I didn't want to quit. I enjoyed it.
You didn't want to quit. So what wound up happening with the Joke Hunt?
Just after 8 years...
Wow.
They unceremoniously pulled the plug. In 8 years, on the Howard 101 website, that page, there was 2 lines. Jackie Martling has left the Howard Stern show, but he has his own show, Jackie's Joke Hunt. There was a tiny little thumbnail picture of me, and that was the entire promotion for the show, except for Howard mentioning it. There was no page. There was no picture of Ian. There was no mention of Ian. It was absolutely nothing. When we first started the show, a friend of mine, Bobby Bank, came up and took 1 billion pictures of us and put it on Wire Image, which is worth $1 gazillion. Sirius made him take it down.
Why?
You tell me.
Howard.
Well, you know what? It's called being there around. Like, that's what we like to say most of the time. And everybody's around. They never really tell you when somebody's been let go or somebody is no longer at the show. No goodbyes.
Meanwhile... But I was there 18 years.
Wow.
And then Howard got married a year after I left, or less. And I wasn't invited to weddings.
I know. We wanted to talk about that.
Really couldn't believe. And
Chevy Chase was.
I just, it was hurtful, but I guess understandable on some.
Why Snyder wasn't invited?
Who knows? So then we're there for 8 years.
Jackie, it's not fucking Dee Snider.
But that's what he's saying.
Then 8 years. I was an arm's length away from him for 15 years, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. Right. So then we were there 8 years. Sirius XM, not Howard, Sirius XM threw Howard a 60th birthday party.
Oh, who doesn't remember that?
And we were not only
not invited.
We were not only on the Sirius XM staff. We were on the Howard Stern staff at Sirius XM. And Ian and I weren't invited to the 60th birthday party.
You weren't big enough anymore, Jackie.
So many people. Everybody was invited.
Everybody was invited.
But not really the staff.
And I must have got 25 emails from people saying, can I be your +1? And I had to write back and say, I wasn't even invited.
-1.
And people...
You were less than 0.
People couldn't believe it. And then we were canceled the week before Thanksgiving.
And you didn't get to go to the Christmas party.
And they didn't invite me and Ian to the Christmas party, which is just... none of those things are really believable, and we were told that we were canceled because they were canceling all the shows on Howard 101, and we were the only show that they canceled.
No, but they have canceled everything, Jackie. You know why?
Whatever. You know what? I don't know.
Listen, it's water under the bridge. I get that.
But the whole thing is, he's got to burn his saddle, and if you ask him, I'm sure he'd say, "I got no problem with Jackie. What are you talking about?"
Yes, he's a liar. Yeah.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
You know what? I almost sent him an email this morning.
He wouldn't have answered it. It doesn't matter.
Who cares? But there was something that we had bonded out about a long time ago, and it's very funny. And it was honestly, the thought went through my mind. I said, I should just write to him and tell him that.
That's a kind thing.
Because I don't, I had no animosity. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't do anything wrong. Like,
when is the last time you spoke to him?
Called me up after they didn't renew me. And he said, "What's going on?"
Who did?
He said,
Dominic.
He said,
the bloated attorney.
He said, "You didn't do anything wrong.
Stick for 2 for 1.
Why?
So Dominic's not on the show anymore.
No. This is 15 years.
Nobody who's like D-list or C-list is on the show anymore. It's
all
a totally
of his
different
old
show.
friends are jealous of him. His new friends
are not
important.
right.
But his old friends are jealous.
I realized something about
he's
the new
totally
friends.
entitled to do that.
Of course, you're entitled
But
to
he's an
do
asshole.
that. But
I'm
you know
sorry.
what? The thing that made you the person that people listen to, the person that made you who you were today,
Yes.
were people like you who were a little bit more everyman, who were a little bit more the understandable person. Like Artie also. Artie, tells stories about being on the fucking docks and, just being like a regular guy. This is the person that people associated with. Not so much Howard as the peripherals that were around him. And once he lost that and spent $55 million cash for a place in Florida.
Which was only like $48 million.
I know, he overpaid
But,
for
all right,
it.
but there's a... I
He
don't
deserves
know
it.
I don't know enough to know who's listening, who isn't. But I know that there's still millions and millions and millions of people that are listening to it, and there's a fringe amount of you people that know. Like there was a fringe amount of people that said, Pete forever, Ringo never. You know what I mean? Like things change, and there's plenty of people that love him right the way he is, and it's fine.
No,
there is a lot of...
Monique?
I mean, I'm not really. I don't mean like defending him. He's allowed to.
He's allowed to evolve and be whatever the fuck he wants to be. And there's a lot of people that bought a new Chevy in 2010 who never heard the old shows, like Jackie was saying earlier, that they never even realized that Jackie existed.
What?
But that's but that's fine.
I wanted to ask you when.
Don't point.
Let me tell you.
Let me ask you a question.
I want to ask this one.
Force point.
I'm going to ask you this one.
I'm going to ask this question now.
Oh, shut up. I'm going to ask you.
See, look, again, that's the fucking question.
Because you're bossy. Anyway.
God, fucking ask the question.
Because you keep interrupting me.
Okay, go. Right now. Go.
Okay. So, Howard said he went out to lunch with you. You know how he, just blabs about everything. He said he went out to lunch with you. And you threatened to take Jackie's Joke Hunt off. You have had offers for more money for Jackie's Joke Hunt. And you were threatening him to take it off. So he said that on the show. Was that true?
What was the question?
First of all,
he went to lunch with Jackie.
We never ever went to lunch.
Well, that's what he said. He did ask.
We went to dinner, and I think I asked if I could do other stuff with the show, and he said you could do whatever you want with the show.
Well, what does that mean?
Nobody ever offered money or offered to put it anywhere, and I would have never said that in a million years.
Well, that's what he said on the show.
Of course not.
Of course, and I didn't believe it either. And this is supposed to be a private.
It never happened.
No, I know that there's no such thing as private.
With Howard.
No.
I learned that a long time ago. But that, if you say something out of school to him that you don't want repeated, that's your fault.
Really?
That's idiocy.
Yes.
But did I, come on. What, I'm going to threaten him? Hey, you better give me more, what? I was asking for more money?
Yes. For
how much were you making with the Joke Hunt?
You know what? It was probably my contract, and I'm not allowed to say.
Probably $300 a week.
We were making, less than that.
$200.
We were making $1,000 a show. And we decided, originally they said, look, start off with $1,000 a show. And then we'll
more than I thought.
And then we'll, hold on.
That's Bob Levy money.
And then we'll
Really?
do $1,000 a show, but then we'll talk about it and get it where it should be. That's what Sabian said.
How long
We
was
didn't
the
get
show?
paid at all for the first 4 months.
Oh
We
my
finally
God,
got
you're
no. We eventually got paid. It took that long.
To get it together.
And then forget about ever discussing it. And then after 6.5 years, Tim invited us to go to dinner, and me and Ian decided, we got to ask for more money. We got to ask for more money. And we went out to dinner, and the first thing Tim said, well, the good news is we're keeping the show. The bad news is it's going to be once a month.
Ugh.
And I said, what? I can't do a show once a month. So it was it was mine to throw away. And I said, I want to keep doing it every week. So we did it every week for $1,000 a month. So we were making less than $250 a show for the last year and a half.
So you never went out with Howard and discussed this. This was a Tim Sabian kind of deal.
Never discussed the price of the show. I don't even know if Howard ever knew how much we were making. Or maybe I told him, I don't remember, but I would have never said, I want more money. I'm sure I said, we're working this show and I would like to take it other places if somebody else wants to air it. And he said, you can do whatever you want. But it wasn't about money. It was just like, I was asking permission to take it other places, it wasn't, or else I'll quit. Or it wasn't even the least bit.
He played it that way.
Please.
So I want to go back.
That's good copy, I guess, because it just feeds in to make people think that I'm the bad guy, and I've never been the bad guy.
I don't believe it either. I never got
to ask for something is
At least you have the balls.
I'm writing my book, and I finally did the whole thing about explaining the Rodney thing. I borrowed $1,000 from Rodney, and we got square on it. And then they asked to borrow another $2,000, and he said no. And when Rodney came in, Howard had me owing him $3,000. If I asked you to borrow $2,000 and you don't even answer me,
now.
I don't owe you the money, But that's his genius. I don't hold that against him. But it just,
Well, it
and my friends can't believe how he made me out to be cheap, because I'm the most generous guy there is. And people are like, my friends didn't necessarily listen to the show, but they're like, who's he talking about?
Well,
this cheap guy.
We can obviously see you're not cheap. Who's cheap is Mr. Stern.
Well, but
in my eyes.
I wanted to talk about the wives thing, because I'm always fascinated by that. You guys your wives were basically fodder for so much
bullshit.
Just disdain and bullshit.
That they were using Jackie like Nancy. She's old. She's 40. Why doesn't she hang it up?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right. And Fred's wife, met on Dollar Date, fucking John's wife, where he begged them to have an abortion because she shouldn't have a baby.
Yeah.
And Mary, who was probably a perfectly lovely person, but everybody just got ripped a new asshole.
Nancy would get on the phone with him and go toe to toe with him as good as anybody.
Absolutely, she did.
Nancy.
Absolutely, she did.
She was a cool.
How did you feel though when she then went on years later on Dollar Date? Was that weird?
Did she? If she did, I don't even remember that. But I'm sure I told her to do it. You know what I mean? Like she was one of my best friends before we went out. Before she worked with me, and before we went out, and then she worked with me, and then we started living together, and then we're still best of friends. Like she didn't go on Dial Date. I completely forgot she did that. She didn't do that as a dig to me or anything.
Until she told me that today. How long were you and Nancy together?
From 81 to 2001.
Do you think, I know you...
But I met her in 75,
Wow. So you guys, I'm sure you're having problems before. When you left Howard, was that like the death?
The catalyst, or was it already coming?
All that leaving the Stern Show did was give us time to split up. We would have been split up, but listen, I'm working 5 days a week and then working weekends. When I had a weekend off, I was not going looking for a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
And we were coexisting and we were fine, but, for all practical purposes, we were split up. And then right as before I left the show, this house became available. And I said, Nancy, whether we're splitting up or not, we're buying this house. And she said, you bet your life we are. So we bought this house.
I love this house.
And then when we split up, in fact, before I left the show, I moved in here. by myself.
And
By yourself.
Where's
Okay.
your other
And
house?
then me and Nancy we stayed married for like years and years and years. We
After the
separated
show?
because I was making gadgets with a company that for some reason, if you were separated, they were allowed to be on your insurance plan. And I love her. She's she's a wonderful, talented,
She
terrific
seemed like
girl.
a wonderful woman. She
And
really did.
and I'm not just singing her praises. And she put up with a lot.
I'm sure.
And what kills me is that whole thing where our poor cat got killed. And
oh, the Tim.
no, but who cares about that? I mean, they had a field day with that, which was so horrible. But how does he balance that with this whole thing
Pussy
now?
thing.
Has his wife heard those shows about the cat getting killed?
I had that right here, Timmy the cat.
Yeah.
Well, you know what goes on now?
And that hurt her. We didn't have kids, and that cat was so dear to Nancy.
Of course.
And
Beth is basically the Pia
they thought
Zadora
that was
of the show now.
so funny that
Yeah, it's fucking hysterical when your cat dies. But meanwhile, he gets fucking tattoos because of his bloated Bianca.
And what he said.
But everybody's allowed to change. But it's just the irony of it is crazy.
It's irony.
Bullshit. And he said about Bianca, she taught me how to love. I have 3 daughters here.
I have no idea who is Bianca.
His dog. He had a
bulldog
bulldog that passed
who
away.
taught him how to love.
And he got a tattoo saying Bianca
And
on
so
his...
did Beef.
Yeah, Beef got a
Yeah.
tattoo as well. And now what she
Ooh.
does, Beth, we call her Beef. There's no good reason for that. I don't even know why.
But it sounds good.
I feel like I'm not part of the conversation. I don't know what you're talking about.
So basically what Beth does now is she works for North Shore Animal League and she
All right, move on.
fosters
I don't care.
cats.
I don't care.
But
It's just odd that this whole
just hurt.
cat love thing after.
Yeah, right. After they just
And I feel like he's a bit of a germaphobe, so I don't even understand how he allows 12 cats into the house at
How
any
is
given
he
time.
a germaphobe if he banged Angie Everhart, who fucked Sylvester Stallone?
All right.
Yeah.
Move on.
Who banged the other one?
Move
Who banged
on.
Mike
Move
Tyson.
on.
Germaphobe. That's what I'm saying.
Move on.
Can I
You can
say that?
be a germaphobe and have sex. Go ahead.
Oh no.
No. Are you still friendly with any of the staff members?
As far as I know, I mean,
Well, what does
when
that mean as far as you know?
Well, when I need to ask Gary something, I text me right back. And me and Fred went to lunch. I don't know how long ago, but I haven't seen really, except for Fred, I haven't seen anybody since a year ago, the Christmas party, because I used to see everybody at the Christmas party.
So when did you see
I ran
Fred?
into Sal at Billy Joel, but I saw Fred. It must have been a year ago, February or something. We went to lunch.
Are you still allowed in the Sirius offices?
What do you mean talk about?
I don't know. A lot of people are banned from there. There's a lot of people who are not allowed.
Yes,
Stuttering
big
John's
time.
not allowed.
I don't go to Howard's, but I go on with John Fugelsang. I go on with Ron and Fez. Well, it's not Fez anymore. But I go on Ron Bennington. I go on with John Fugelsang. I go on with
Opie and Anthony ever?
I haven't been on Opie and Anthony since Anthony left, but I used to go on with them.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? I don't know, but I go up there when if I need to.
But you're not like.
Did you know that Howard's last words before he signed off the last day on XRK were?
I tell people that. F. Jackie, right?
F. Jackie.
I think that's
the last words. It's the last words he said before he got off terrestrial radio.
I think that's
love
great.
that. I think it's
that's
awesome.
a testimonial to something.
Did you think all those people that would call in all the time saying F. Jackie, F. Jackie, F. Jackie, like, did you feel like, he had built up a series of people to have animosity towards you?
It's like saying Baba Booey. I thought it was like Remember the Alamo. I never thought they meant it mean. Maybe they did. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Who cares?
People loved you, Jackie.
When you started working for the show, like I know that the history is there. You had submitted a tape or something to the Stern Show.
No.
What were you doing at the time? We want to know. Because I have no idea how you got on the show.
Nor do I.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No
we
idea.
don't know.
I worked at a recording studio in the 70s, and I'm like gum on somebody's shoe. I stick to people. The guy who owned the studio, we had a band, and we did this song called the Pot Song, and the audience used to go crazy. The audience, the bar crowd would go crazy.
Guitar?
And then I met a girl who broke my heart, and they really thought I was going to kill myself. And the owner didn't want me to kill myself because he owned 2 clubs where we always sold the place out. So he said, hey, I'm going to back a song. I want you guys to make a song about I want you to record the pot song. Now listen to this. I have no idea what he meant by this to this day. He said, I want you to record the pot song. I think we got like a 50-50 chance. And I said, okay, we'll record the pot song, but I want to record a love song on the other side. He said, okay. He said, yeah, we'll do it at Kevin's studio. So we recorded in 1976, and then I started doing comedy. And we started comedy on Long Island. Not started in comedy. We started comedy on Long Island, me and another guy, at a club in Huntington. And I used to record my shows on a cassette player with me in the left side of the cassette player and the crowd in the right side of the cassette player. And I went home one night and I said to my girlfriend, I said, you know, the girl that I told this to was a girl who broke my heart too. And Nancy was her best friend. And Nancy soothed my wounds through my breakup with her. And then we became best friends, blah, blah, blah. So that's my whole history. So Nancy's best friend was this girl, Lois.
Who broke your heart?
And I said to Lois, I said, they laughed every time I opened my mouth. I should make a record. She said, well, what are you waiting for? So I took my show was recorded on cassette, and I mixed it onto a tape and edited it with a razor blade. I had a picture of my 8th grade class on my wall, because that's where the first Jokeland was, in my mother's attic. Have you ever seen it? Mm-mm. It's a picture of me in 8th grade giving the finger.
Send it to us.
Where is it? I want to see it.
I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Want me to get it right now?
Yeah, go get it. I'm going to take a picture of it for everybody. So
I'll email you.
You want to pause? We can pee.
pee. Let's
okay,
pause.
I can
gotta
pause.
Urinate.
Yeah, pause it.
Go.
I just had to urinate, and I walked into the bathroom, and Jackie was peeing.
What was it? What did it look like?
Beer can thick.
All right, let's go back. We're going to hold on.
I gotta finish what we're talking about.
What were we talking about?
You asked me how I wound up on the show.
Yes,
I thought that was
definitely.
important.
It is very
I am very shocked that you don't know. That's why I'm...
No.
We weren't listeners back then, so we don't know.
We're bambinas, honey.
Yeah, we're bambinas.
I recorded my show a couple nights and edited it together and took my 8th grade class picture
Let me see. We're going to take some pictures.
and put it on my wall and said, this is going to be my first record.
What did you expect?
Find me.
I can find you in a minute.
All right, hold on.
Jackie the Joke.
I'm going to go with Jackie as being the little blonde boy. No, that's Jackie. What do you got?
What did you expect?
Yeah, him.
What am I doing?
You're holding the thing.
No, what am I doing?
You're sitting there giving the finger, right?
Yeah.
You little imp, you.
Look at that fucking coat, too. Look at that jacket.
I love it. It's so, like...
So...
Ward Cleaver would have been
So I
pissed.
sent my $1,000 and my tape and my picture to Nashville.
Yeah.
And when I went to pick up my 1,000 albums at Port Authority, you would have thought that I was picking up. You would have thought I was picking up the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Oh my God, Jackie was so cute.
You
Then,
were adorable, honey.
A year later,
Yeah.
I put out a second one
Let me see.
called Going Ape. And a year
Now, how old
later,
were you? How old were you at this point?
Jesus, Jackie.
This album I was 31.
Okay.
This album I was 32.
Let me see. Where's our Jack?
Jackie's everywhere here.
How cute. My goodness.
And this album I was...
Honey, I want to take a pic first.
Well, I'll send you this bit. You have to take a picture in good light.
Go.
Okay.
And then this was 1930. This is when I was
1934.
So by the time 1982 rolled around, I had 3 albums out.
Really great. How did they
Nancy was
sell?
working with me. My dial joke was up to 6 lines. We would send all 3 records with matching cassettes, all my promo, to everybody. No matter who I met, there's so many stories about me giving out I was the first guy. I put out this album in 1979. I was the first guy that was ever standing at the door at the end of the show selling a comedy album.
And now it's like nothing.
But
It's very
nobody
common
had an album.
knowledge,
People couldn't
yeah.
believe I had an album 6 months after I became a comedian. 6 months after. And in 1982, we sent out so many sets of 3 albums. It was money we couldn't afford. We couldn't afford the materials, couldn't afford the postage, but we didn't even know what we were chasing. Me and Nancy were just having fun, fucking our brains out, smoking pot. In 1982, I was working at a place called Garvin's in Washington, D.C., and the owner said, you know what? There's a guy that used to work here on Fridays. He used to do a broadcast on Friday mornings in his underwear. And he just got fired from DC 101. He's going to NBC in New York. You should look him up. He'll love you. And I sent these 3 albums, unsolicited, just 3 albums and the cassettes. Howard Stern, care of WNBC. I had no idea who he was. I could have cared less. It was just one of those packages I sent out.
Yeah.
And then a couple months.
So you didn't listen to WNBC. You didn't know from Howard.
Didn't know from anything.
Okay.
Well, no, he hadn't even moved there yet.
Oh,
He was in Washington.
He said he got fired. He's moving to NBC. But I sent the package and then never thought about it again. And then in February of 1983, Nancy called. I was in my mother's attic, which was Jokeland. She called and said, hey, that guy Howard Stern just called. He wants you to call him. I called NBC, and Howard got on the phone and said, hey, listen, will you listen to your records? You know every joke. We think you're fun. You want to come in and hang out on the air? Today we're doing a talent contest over the telephone. I said, sure. So I went into WNBC, and at that time I was running Governor's Comedy Shop that I started, and he promoted Governors. He promoted 516-922 Wine, which is my dirty joke line.
Right.
And we had a great time. And at the end of the show, he looked over and said, man, you're fun. Come back next week? I said, sure. I came back the next week. We had another field day. I was on with Rip Taylor. It was just so much fun.
How on?
And then a few days later, he called up and said, Jackie, I got bad news. I thought, well, that's the end of this, you know. He said, I can't promote 922 Wine on the air anymore. They got complaints because it's dirty. He said, but would you like to still come in? I said, are you kidding? And so then...
Was it good for business at that point already?
Oh, stop it.
I'm just saying that initial kind of come in for a couple of weeks, you weren't getting paid, right?
But for Howard Stern, for any disc jockey to say, see Jackie at Governor's Comedy Shop and call 9221, it was invaluable.
Yeah.
He said, listen, you know, and he said, why don't you bring in some of your friends? There's still guys to this day that can't believe, I would say, you want to come on the Howard Stern show with me? And they'd say, what's it pay?
Right.
So what's it pay?
Right.
Your name's going to go out to the entire tri-state area. There's still guys that say, I can't believe I turned down going on the show. And there were guys that came on that had just such a great time. And one day a week, I was there for one day a week for like 3 years. There was a couple times we had a falling out for different reasons. But then he called me back. And then he called me up. Then he got fired.
Right.
You know, and...
who gave you the name Jackie the Joke Man?
Rick Dees.
The DJ.
Really, Rick Dees? Who'd have thought? I want to talk about how you guys all went into.
Did you want to ask a question?
Bathroom. I am asking the question, bossy bitch.
What?
I'm asking the question that. Remember Houston, the porn star?
But she wasn't the one we went to. We went into the bathroom with some woman. No, we went to the bathroom with somebody else to have our penises measured.
That was Houston.
I never went in the bathroom with Houston.
Well, then it was Houston. It was probably Dallas then, but it was Houston.
I know Chicago. I know the woman I went in the bathroom with was heinous.
Minneapolis.
Was heinous, and I just came out and made up a number.
Did you take off your pants?
No, I just made up a number.
Exactly. So what?
And if you listen closely to that,
it was Houston.
Howard said how big his dick was, and every time he talked about it, he added 1/4 of an inch. I think he started at 5 1/4 and ended up
then
at 6
it went to 6 1/2.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Houston, because I remember the woman that was in there took her top off and she had these horrible
wonky breasts, right? Wonky, bad fucking tits.
Houston.
They're all like that.
And she had labiaplasty.
It was such a non-event.
Details are hazy. Yeah, what's the point?
This is what I'm going to ask.
What's the fucking point, Grace?
Oh, what you're such a man. What's the point? My point is that Houston said that when she went into that bathroom...
I'm going to make t-shirts that say, cut to the fucking chase, Grace.
Oh, shut up.
Go ahead, what?
Houston, after that...
Dallas, Maverick.
Dallas, San Jose, I don't care.
Oh, fucking ask the question, God damn it.
Oh, you're the one who stopped me.
Well, come on, I'm digressing.
She said that when she went in with Howard, she gave him a blowjob. It was Houston. And she said he took off his pants and she gave him a blowjob.
You think that happened?
When did she say that?
About 2 weeks after the old...
Do you have empirical proof of this?
Yes, I do. I can look it up, honey.
Listen,
look it up.
For whatever else has ever gone on, he never, ever cheated on Allison. He never touched anybody.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you, I didn't have to be in the trailer. I didn't have to be in bathrooms. You know, Gina Gershon pulled him into a bathroom, wanted to suck his cock, and he ran out of there. I mean, that's not how the guy's wired. You gotta, I'm not defending him. I'm just telling you like it is.
But why was the Ralph condom thing going on there?
I have no
What are
idea.
you talking about?
I don't know.
Ralph, remember how
I don't remember. You need to elucidate.
Allison, when they were going to LA to shoot the movie, Allison was going through Howard's suitcase and she found condoms.
I
Remember
never.
that?
I was there. I was on the show. I never heard that.
Oh yeah, it was big. And
I would remember that.
Jackie, huge. And then Ralph said it was just a joke.
I don't remember anything.
Oh, if Ralph hid condoms in his suitcase, that's a possibility.
That's what I was saying.
But I should remember that. No, did Howard pack condoms for a trip? No.
No, Ralph did.
No.
Ralph did.
Please.
Ralph did. Did you like Ralph?
You know, Ralph's an opportunist. You know, he was always very nice to me, and I'm nice
What
to
does
him.
he
but
actually
would,
do for a living?
He would throw me he'd throw anybody under the
Oh,
bus.
please. They all wanted to throw anybody under the bus as long as it wasn't them. That's
You know, Howard made fun of people for hanging out with people that they liked or that they met
Or
along the way. And meanwhile,
losers
Ralph
or
worked in a
whatever.
gas station and he stalked the show and he wound up Howard's best friend. And he'd make fun of somebody because you made friends with him because they were another comedian. You know.
Well, you know what you forget and what you don't realize about the Howard Stern show is that most of the people that are on there either now or before, it's the first and only job they've ever had in
Pretty
broadcasting.
much, yeah. Look at Boy Gary.
They're all real good at what they do.
So my question to you at this point is, what do you think the future is of the Howard Stern show? Because there's been a lot of talk about it lately.
I have no idea. I will say that the one thing I have always said is the day that Howard dies, he'll have been on the radio that morning.
Yeah,
Really
I think you're
that,
right.
huh?
I think he's right too. Grace and I were talking about this on our way out
Yeah,
here.
because Sirius is up this year.
Right.
His contract.
I feel like, you know, I was thinking that he wasn't going to be re-signed, but I don't think anything else will generate
I don't either.
the ability to do what he does 3 days a week, 4 hours a day that this does.
I think
Too
he's gonna
easy.
resign.
It's too easy.
It's
There's no
easy
reason
money.
to walk away.
Also, there is no way to count how many listeners he has or ratings.
No, it's easy to monetize this because it's just a salary versus if you were on Periscope or if you were on some new media today.
Why would anybody want to deal with all that? All right, you know I don't really care. I don't
People
really care
deal
about
with
what
that.
happens there.
People deal with that like we deal with it because, you know, we do this just for fun. So we do it just for shits and giggles and I pay for it out of my pocket and do all this fucking stuff.
I give her swag.
And she
bags out of
exactly.
0.0.
And it's just for fun. It's a different world now because there is so much social media. It's different for you too, Jackie. I mean, you know, the reality is that Jackie nowadays, by the way, is doing Monday night comedy at the
Broadway
Comedy Store, which is on 53rd between 7th and 8th.
No,
8th and 9th. 8th and 9th. I'm an idiot.
8 p.m. every Monday. It's the all joke show, and people get up and tell jokes like Monique.
I get up until
But you know what? Here's the funny thing. Jackie gives out money for a joke. Wait, so how does it work? Because I feel like you lose more money than you make on that fucking
What time does it start?
It's $10. 8 p.m. It's $10 to get in. If you tell a joke, they give you $5. If you tell another joke, they give you another $5.
It just seems like everybody who comes up on stage, like me, I was like a total dick bag.
You got $10.
I got $10.
Two beautiful hooters. But you were great on. You were really. I'm not just saying. She was great on stage. She rolled.
I
with me
felt
really
like
well.
such an idiot. I
It's
swear
so
to you.
fun.
It was so fun. And Grillo
I
was
feel
great
guilty
too.
how much I enjoy it. It's really fun.
So do you do that just for your own edification?
No, because I'm hoping it's going to develop into a great show on the internet, and I really think it is. People really enjoy it, but I thought they enjoyed the Jokeland too. So we'll see what. You know, I went through a day and a half where I thought I had cancer. It's
a day and a half.
They found something on my X-ray, and
where'd they find it? Where was it?
A chest X-ray. So I was shitting for a day and a half, and I was out there swimming, and I realized that I wouldn't change anything, and then it turned out it was absolutely nothing. But I spent a day and a half, like, because they can't tell you anything.
No.
So they can't say it's probably nothing, don't worry. They can't say that.
Nothing.
So, you know, I'm like, if they say, what if they say you got 6 months? What if they say you got 5 years? And I realized I wouldn't change anything. I love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep telling my jokes. I'm going to keep, you know, dating girls. I'm going to keep doing what I do, you know.
Do you regret anything about your, not necessarily your years with Howard, but your non-years with Howard? Do you regret not having parlayed that?
When we went to LA and everything, people were like, why aren't you taking meetings? Why aren't you doing stuff? And you know what? we worked hard. When I was in L.A., I was having fun. You know, I've always been one foot in front of the other. Banging into Howard was, you know, was a happy accident. People are like, well, what if you hadn't run into Howard? I said, well, you know what? I was spreading myself so far around, I would have bumped into somebody. You know, somebody said to Hillary Clinton, they said, you know, yeah, you're famous and you're popular and you're powerful, but what if you hadn't married Bill Clinton? What if you hadn't married a gas station attendant? And you know what she said? Then he'd be president.
Exactly, and
you know,
I believe that.
It's true. You know,
I helped Howard. You know, sometimes I don't take enough credit. Sometimes I take too much.
You don't.
But when I started working with him, he was outrageous and funny. And when I came aboard, he became funny and outrageous, which is very subtle.
Funnier and more outrageous.
Yeah, it's like, you
honestly,
know, I never made him more outrageous, but you know, it's if you're funny, you can get away with so much more. I mean, you know, that's why I became a wise. I was a little guy, and I was a big mouth, and I was, you know, I was a wise guy, and you know, and it worked. And it just turned out that my sense of humor just melded together perfectly. You know,
you're a perfect couple.
You could now. You don't have to work.
Do you
have to work?
You know what Jackie Mason says?
What?
I never have to work again, unless I want to buy something. You know, same thing, you know.
No, but you're doing okay, Jackie. You're not like...
I'm fine, but
I
can't
telling
just...
you, he gives away more money than he fucking gets.
I can't just get in the car. I mean, I can't just get on a plane and go to China for 2 weeks or something like that. You know, so like, you know, I'm nowhere near rich, but I'm not going to miss a meal.
Right.
And I wouldn't miss a meal because I got too many good friends with too much money.
Of course, yeah.
And now you have me.
Guess what?
And, you know what? But in my mind, I really would like another nice score. You know, I think my book might make me a real lot of money. And
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun going around taking Q&As and doing it, playing Stump the Joke Man and farting around. I like being with people and telling jokes and telling stories. And if that's what you love, you know, I'll be able to, you know, my friend Burf says everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be.
That's right.
Because if it wasn't, it would be that way, and that's how you would know it. There is no what if, you know, this is the way everything's supposed to be.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right.
Because it has to be. Because you would never know, and, you know.
We'd all slit our throats.
One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
We would.
We would.
All right. So we're going to wrap up with Jacqueline's right now because it looks like, I don't know, hurricane.
Hey, Jackie.
What?
Will you please tell my jokes one
Give
night?
them to me.
Okay, good. Give them over. Let him tell you jokes.
These
All
are
right.
from when I was
Grace
7 years
wrote
old.
these when she was 7 years old.
Yes.
And they are like the ramblings of a mad woman, just so you know.
I was 7.
Yeah, so why are you giving him fucking jokes from when you were 7?
Girls really don't have to curse because you sound so sexy and cute.
Without
It's
it.
such a turn off.
I know. I was really trying really hard to not say the F word most of the
Was that
day.
vulgar?
No, I was good today. I didn't say
vulgar?
fuck. Are these the jokes?
Thanks, Jackie, for doing our little show. You the best. You the man. We love you.
Blah, blah,
Hand job
blah,
and clothes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Blah, blah, blah.
Grace, Monique, and...
The guy who never showed up.
Oh,
so I'm nice. Excuse me for my French. Okay, this is...
All right, here she is. 7-year-old joke.
No. Okay, here's page 1. Okay, you ready? Page 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
one day a man came out of the house. A mom.
Ramblings of a mad woman.
One day a mom came out of the house and saw her daughter had climbed up a tree. She was wearing a dress. The neighbor boy...
Was cheering her on.
How about a period? She was wearing a dress. The neighbor lady, neighbor boy was cheering her on to go higher. Mom got her down from tree. Do not climb trees in a dress. He only wants to see your panties. And she said, but Ma, I wasn't wearing any.
Oh, you knew that when you shit.
Of course he did, because you didn't make that up when you were 7.
Okay, here's one of the jokes.
Look what goes on here.
Oh, shut up. You didn't have a joke for him.
I had fabulous jokes on
All right,
stage
we're
for
stopping
him.
this. So I'm going to get the blame for these jokes.
You are. I'm totally going to get the blame.
Here's this one.
We can't listen to your jokes anymore,
There were
Grace.
these 2 French ladies walking down the street.
Some
A
people
cab driver
do,
pulled
others
over and
teach.
asked them if they wanted a ride. They said, oui, oui. He said, not in my car. Oh, God.
Look, she's so happy right now. You have no idea.
I was
She's like Wendy the retard right now, just clapping away.
Pedophiles are sitting on a park bench.
Yeah.
You know that?
No.
2 pedophiles are sitting on a park bench and a 9-year-old girl goes by.
Uh-huh.
And the first one says, whoa, look at that. And the other one says, yeah, she must have been something in her day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
this time we actually do love Jackie.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
we
you
do
can't
love.
say,
I can't say I don't love him.
everybody. We
All
love
right.
Jackie. Thank you.
Bye, guys. But I do boss you around, Grace. I have to.
Yes, but don't I always fight you back because then I tell
But
you.
I have to boss you around. That's my job. My job is to be the showrunner. I'm the fucking showrunner.
And I don't drink, but I need to.
And I accept it from that bitch.
I really don't.
But it took us a long time. We've come a long way, baby.
I was ready to fire you on multiple occasions.
Fire me?
What do I pay you for, damn it?
0.0.
Exactly.
I spent $60 on Jackie's gifts on our 0.0 budget.
Hey, I drove.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. And we have a really cool guest tonight. I have a lot of questions for him.
Should we say Radio Levy, Monique?
Oh,
This
we
week?
definitely should say Radio Levy. So last week I was, as John would say, slightly incapacitated. And all of a sudden, on Wednesday, I started getting a shit ton of texts and PMs and all sorts of shit. Radar Online just mentioned RadioGunk in their episode. There's something about Jackie talking about how he wasn't invited to the wedding and blah, 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 blah. And blew my fucking mind. I mean, it blew me away that he did that. And he's awesome. Adam's like an awesome guy. He was on the show previous. You know, I had talked to him a couple of times, and then he had texted me and said, hey, I'm doing a thing. I didn't think about it after that, but it just blew the fuck up.
It was wonderful. And I want to say something to you guys. Just as you recall, you made fun of me.
Of course, I always make fun of you.
Yes. I said to Adam, after he hung up, I said, we love him.
Yeah, we do.
And you said, I don't
Everyone.
love him.
I don't love
him.
I said, Grace, you love everyone.
But first you said, I don't love him.
He was a good friend to us last
100%.
week. We really, really appreciate that he quoted us, and we thought that was awesome.
And Broad's fantastic job on that Jackie interview. And fuck Bayville and fuck its whole goddamn Wayne Manor infrastructure. It needs its own area code. I wouldn't mind if it just seceded to become its own fucking state. You goddamn using that goddamn Lotus Notes dial-up Wi-Fi from like IBM in 2001. Fuck you, Bayville. I'm never refereeing there again.
Jesus. All right, enough with this.
Okay.
So, you know, Howard's been on vacation,
Yay.
so we don't have a lot of Week in Review, and maybe we'll do that at the tail end of the show. Our guest tonight, his name is Lee, and we know him as Crazy Cabbie. Are you there, Cabbie?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
What do you want us to address you as? I'm Grace, by the way.
Cabbie's fine. I mean, I don't use that anymore. It's just Lee, but I mean, that was always what I used. You know, Cabbie was a moniker, a radio handle that I used for many years. I ran with it. It kind of sucked. I got into the business. I was driving a cab. Long story short, that became my radio name. Crazy Cabbie was originally, and then I tried to lose crazy, and then, you know, because
you can't lose crazy.
I wanted to be a professional broadcaster, and I wasn't, you know, I actually worked in radio for many years, but, you know, how far can your broadcast career go as, oh, I'm the Crazy Cabbie, you know what I mean?
But then you couldn't lose it, right? I mean, it just stuck.
Yeah, because I was a DJ at K-Rock. I worked in Minneapolis before that. And then when I went in and did the Stern stuff, it was always outlandish. And I always went in there with the idea of promoting the things I was doing on K-Rock, because I knew that was a bigger platform to promote the stuff that Kane and I were doing.
Right.
But it just, you know, everything I did on there was, you know, so out of hand. It stuck, and it was like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I've been on the radio I walked away, and basically it was like 2008. I get recognized even sometimes by voice in a fucking grocery store. And it's like,
really?
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh my God, you're that guy. And I'm like, yeah, I was that guy, but I just want to get my fucking hot dogs and leave, you know?
Who are you talking to get hot dogs that they would recognize your voice? Can't you just pick up some
the cashier.
friends?
Like, literally, they're like, oh, my God, I recognize your voice. And it's even, you know, they recognize me that I'm large and covered in tattoos. They recognize the voice sometimes.
That's what I was thinking. When I saw you, you're like a black guy because you look great with tattoos. You look great with a mohawk. You look great fat. You look great with a mohawk. You're like a black guy. You're the only one that can pull it off.
Yeah, I can kind of pull off all looks. It's funny because, you know, I can cover the tattoos. It's hard because I'm, you know, neck to feet. But, you know, fat, skinny, I'm big sexy. Yeah, I got that.
First off, I really, really, really want to thank you for your service to our country. And I don't think people really fucking appreciate how much you did for us. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
You're almost as if like Jesse the Body Ventura and Pat Tillman had a kid. You remind me of
That's an honor because those two guys are both heroes. If you're talking, a ranger and a seal.
Yeah.
So if a ranger and a seal have a kid, then I would be. I would be honored to be
like
a kid.
A big walrus manatee with tattoos. So what are you doing now, Cabbie? What's going on in your life?
A friend of mine developed a new kind of different social media app called Scout It. It's video sharing, but it's geocentric. It's
what does that mean?
It's it's basically you ask a question anywhere in the world using it's called the Scout It request, and if there's someone in that area who wants to respond, they could. Let's say you're in New York and you want to know what's going on at a club, and you send out what's called a Scout It request. You can ask a just like general question and say, hey, what's going on in Midtown Manhattan tonight? And people, if they're there and choose to respond, they can shoot a quick 15 to 20-second video and send a response, or nobody can respond, or 20 people can respond to the Scout It request, and it comes directly back to your phone. It's like an interactive social media tool, and brands can use it, and companies can use it. We've got some partners that have signed on.
Cool.
Are you making dough off of this?
Yeah, are you doing anything with this?
I'm actually helping a friend out. I'm not making dough. I'm helping a friend. He came up with a really cool idea. And when he came to me, I was like, wow, this is a really cool invention.
I, for one, I appreciate your honesty because you very easily could have lied there and said you were making like 7 figures. So I appreciate your we're going to try to get you to merge with Grillo's Bright Shot, and you guys get the whole conglomerate here.
You know what? Grillo and we interact a little bit on the Facebook. I'm not a social media guy. When I got out of radio, I stopped doing that thing, and I got bored with it. I didn't like the direction radio was going. I thought satellite kind of ruined things. So I actually went back to college. I got my degree in psychology.
I saw that.
I got a BS in psychology from the City University of New York, cum laude, no less.
Nice.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. The crazy people have to, try to.
We know each other, right? We know
crazy
our own. Absolutely.
Crazy. We know it.
Exactly. I wasn't happy with things after, prison. I did the prison thing.
Yes, that was awful.
Well, we want to talk about this, so let's go back to that for a second. I want to start this off with a couple of things because, obviously we've been talking for a couple of weeks, and I had some loss in my family, and we kind of went back and forth.
I'm sorry for your loss. That was tragic, and I meant what I said.
I know,
words.
and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, sweetheart. So I had a lot of time because I was traveling a lot back and forth, and I listened to a lot of things that you were on, whether it was Opie and Anthony or on the Stern Show and things like that. And a lot of people that we've had on the show, like Stuttering John and Grillo and things like that, they're all very polarizing figures, and people either love Stuttering John or absolutely fucking hate him. And I was thinking about you, and I was listening to you on a lot of these shows. I feel like a lot of times people really shit on you. Like, they like to talk kind of down to you, like, fuck you, Cabbie, or why the fuck aren't you listening?
The condescending thing was huge in all the
Really
clips I listened to.
condescending.
I started to get angry about it.
Right,
actually.
me too. I'm so glad you agree with me.
You know what? I took that with a grain of salt in the sense of, I think my role when I got into radio, it wasn't like I picked it, but the heel in wrestling,
Yeah, that's what you were. I mean, when I heard you on, immediately I got a Jesse Ventura vibe out of you because you're from Minnesota and you had that military background and you came out. It was like, I'm going to be crazy, Cabbie, and stuttering John. You have no choice but to face me in that squared circle.
Right, like you know what? It was funny because people would come at me like that. They would come at me like that, but 99%, and this is a true story. 99.9% of the time they would come at me like that. But out in public, no one ever had anything to say because, I mean, I don't think it was because I was big or threatening or anything because I'm just a big jolly guy. I'm a Minnesota nice guy. Like I don't come off as an
slightly
asshole.
passive aggressive, I'm going to tell you, because I feel like people were able to just say, you know, shut the fuck up, Cabbie, and you always took it. Exactly what John just said. I started to feel genuinely bad. I mean, even when fucking Gary would walk into a show and be like, fuck you, Cabbie, let me fucking finish what I'm trying to say. And they kind of made you like victim dog, you know, the dog that the fucking guy kicks on the street and he just kind of takes it and comes back for more. And I started to feel really upset about how you were treated on a lot of these shows, even on fucking Opie and Anthony.
I totally agree with that. I got more of a condescension from them.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what, though? At the end of it all, a lot of it I always saw was jealousy. This is how, psychologically, because you know what? These motherfuckers couldn't beat me. They never saw the things that I did. They never got to the places I got. All the stories and all the shit I said, everything I ever did in my life was fucking true. And every time someone tried to prove me wrong or say I was a liar, guess what? I always fucking threw it right back in their face. And even when they said, oh, you weren't in the fucking service, you didn't do this. Bro, I came out and said I had fucking sex with a man or Caitlyn Jenner. Or dude, so what? I experimented when I was a fucking teenager. Suck my dick. You know what? Fuck you. I had those balls and I did it on national radio and everybody, all my bosses told me, you're going to lose your job. We should probably fucking fire you. Steve Kingston, the biggest fucking douchebag in the radio, said, you're Kane. You're going to fucking, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. Well, guess what? I did it. And go fuck yourself because I was honest.
I want to start out with something I thought was a really interesting segment when you were on Howard, and that was the tragic fucking diet supplement incident. I know that ruined a friend of mine's company.
That's really awful.
He was spending money at Sirius at that point.
Yeah.
I brought him in as a sponsor. Yeah. And they came in and they crushed his company. He lost like $8 million.
So we thought
Howard has sponsors.
Yeah, we thought it was important to kind of talk that through a little bit. So Caps, if you're there, could you play the clip where Cabbie came in to introduce the product? Because I want to talk to this for a second.
So, Cabbie, let's sum up. First of all, why Cabbie's here today. He is a representative of I-57 Ignite.
Yes.
There's a website called, as you're wearing on your shirt,
MyI57.com.
MyI57.com. It is a great pill to take.
Yes, it gives you mad energy. It helps you when you want to have sex.
Right.
It helps suppress your appetite. And I'm telling you what.
Better than ephedra?
Way better than ephedra. Shot-a-boo-gray.
Shot-a-boo-gray. So here he is walking in. Everybody knows that he's here to promote a product where the product is actually paying the show to advertise on. And Howard loves to be fucking unaware.
The product and the advertiser too serious. Myself. Yes. No salesperson brought that product.
Oh, Cabbie, nothing catches him by surprise. He knew exactly what he was walking into. You think he doesn't? He knows they're more fixed now. They have rehearsed talking points. They have a script now. Yeah. That's now. And even when you were dealing with that.
And get this. You know who fucking, remember Trim Spa?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a friend of mine still to this day because he used to work for Trim Spa. He can quote, before Anna Nicole Smith, you know how much Cabbie brought to Trim Spa and Howard Stern and K-Rock and how much Trim Spa made with me? Over $300 million.
No way. How?
How much did I see from that? I'm not going to go into that, but I'm just saying.
Bucks,
okay, go ahead.
There's a house in Palm Beach right now that's
with your name on it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, it killed Anna Nicole Smith, allegedly, supposedly.
Allegedly, supposedly. Right. So here we are with Cabbie coming in to promote a product where the advertiser is paying for his spot on the show. We've kind of established from some previous shows that Howard always got a take of the advertising revenue that streamed in for his particular show. So it was
Which I never did.
Yeah, exactly. So here he is. Let's cut to, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 weeks later, where I-57 is really upset with the fact that, Howard said, "Look at you, you fat fuck. You come walking in the door."
How dare
and, Cabbie's trying to say, "Dude, I lost 20 pounds already on this." But he had to know you were coming in to promote the fucking product.
And
T-shirt
Gary
on.
and fucking Shuley.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Shuley.
I hate Shuley.
They completely sandbagged you.
Sandbag me, sandbag the product.
Yes.
Sandbag the fucking guy's company, his livelihood.
You.
Right. So then, cutting to a couple of weeks later, after he comes out and says you're fat, and then fucking Ralph, that berry-faced bastard, comes out and says you're fat because he's there to do hottest
To
chick
teabag Howard and suck his dick.
Yep.
Exactly.
And lick his asshole. We don't want to get into that.
Cut to a couple of weeks later, and Caps, play that little clip for us so that we could hear how fucking Howard backtracked and tried to say he knew nothing about it.
Cabbie calls me all the time, says, "Can I come in?" And I go, "Sure, anytime you want." So evidently, he comes in.
Evidently.
And, he walks in the room, and according to this in the paper, I don't even know if this is true or not, I go, "Boy, you look fat."
He doesn't know this.
So evidently,
So
he is
kind.
here on a mission to promote a product that says he's thin. So therefore, I'm supposed to know that, and I sabotage and cost the company hundreds of millions of dollars.
How could they prove that?
Best part about that, Monique, is the Rob Zombie song is still playing. He was so bothered by it that he couldn't even wait for the zombie song.
Exactly. Started the whole fucking show with it. He knew exactly what went on.
Yep.
And
He was thinking about it all weekend.
all weekend. And
Yeah, well,
supposedly
because
called him
he
fat.
knows the potential of what had happened with Trim Spa.
Right.
And how much money Trim Spa had made.
Right.
That was huge back then. I remember vividly. When you watch the E! Show, they incorporated Trim Spa commercials into the E! Show. You literally couldn't go.
The money that Stuttering John and I got paid from Trim Spa from the fight was from Trim Spa and fucking Donald Trump.
And you had to wear ads, right, on your back. Or you had a tattoo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who. I don't know who Stuttering John wore.
I can't remember either.
Who promoted him? I won that fight, by the way.
Yeah, you totally won that fucking fight, by the way.
I broke his nose. You know that, right?
No.
5-pound gloves and headgear. I wanted to wear 16-ounce gloves. Or they made us wear the heaviest gloves you could wear. I originally wanted to just take it in a room. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but I had no friendly. When we worked there, I wanted to just. You listen to tapes. I said, let's. I'll put one hand behind my back and you can punch me, and then I get to punch you square fist.
It's like shooting fish in a fucking barrel. Seriously? John Melendez is your baby seal, and you just fucking clubbed him. Let's be honest.
Cabbie, you might have broken John's nose, but Howard's the one that got the nose job.
Dun. So
and the wig.
And the wig.
And the teeth.
So I just wanted to kind of tap off with this whole advertising bullshit, how that seemed to be the pivotal moment where all of a sudden Cabbie's a fucking scumbag. Were you part of the actual lawsuit against him? Why was he so hateful at that point?
You know what? Honestly, from what I understand, the company that he scummed out never filed a lawsuit because he knew filing a lawsuit against
the most litigious man in America,
against Howard Stern and Sirius, he didn't have that kind of dough. You can't win. They would bury him even further, and he couldn't do it.
What a slide.
Yeah, but why was it then your fault though? Why was it then Cabbie fucked up? Cabbie's the scumbag.
Well,
Cabbie's
because he has an open mic 5 days a week or whatever.
3.
What does he work? Two 2 days a week.
2.5.
But he had an open mic, and I was working 1 day a week on the weekends at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And he said I call him all the time. I didn't call him all the time. Number one. Number two.
He said you emailed him all the time. And
whatever. I mean, check the servers, Hillary Clinton. First of all, he said, "Oh, you can stop by any time." Well, I used to go in on the K-Rock shows because I was there in the building. I was there on the overnight shift. Yeah. I was there when he would. It was natural. It was organic. I worked on a Saturday night at 2 in the morning on Faction at Sirius. What I was gonna come to the city and lurk around the station like a stalker to go in on a show? No, that's not what I did. I fought because I didn't want to work at Sirius because it was not a union shop. I wasn't going to do pre-records, and I made them let me take the satellite down so I could actually do a live show. Like,
what was
fuck
the
you.
issue,
I'm
though?
not your fucking puppet.
Well, what was the issue, though, with you being able to have your own people on to fucking interview? Like, why did it have to be a synergy with whatever the fuck was going on at Sirius?
They wanted to control everything, and like when I first got out of jail, and Howard let me, or Sabian let me take over and do like an audition for a few days on Pharrell's show. They wanted me to spill everything that happened in prison. I was like, bro, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just give away everything so you can have everything and like replay it. No, fuck you. Fuck you. So I had some guests on and some porn stars and a couple people, and they were like, oh, that's not what they want you to do.
They didn't want you to do a show.
Like, okay,
Here's what pissed me off. I'm listening to this, and this kind of hit me. And we always talk about there's a lot of hollow, empty promises when we say we use support the troops. Let's these jerk offs going over there and doing their stupid stand up act from 1988, not supposed to boost morale, and somehow we're gonna You want to support the troops, you give Cabbie a job when he gets out. That's how you support the troops. So then sort of I'm saying like you're not following through. You're promising this man a job when he gets out.
Well, here's the thing. You never have to promise me shit. I earn my chops in radio, bro. And if you're not going to fucking hire me, Phil, first of all, and this is a true story, when I was at K-Rock, I went and auditioned at XM down in D.C., and at Sirius, and they both wanted to hire me, and K-Rock, Tom Chiazzano, would not let me work at both stations, but he let other DJs go work at both stations.
Yeah, Opie and Anthony were doing
at K-Rock and Sirius and XM, and when they were separate.
Yeah. No, I remember it well. Opie.
Wait. But he said, because your personality at our fucking station. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then when I was in prison and I heard Opie and Anthony, because, dude, I was like, are you fucking serious?
Howard was on 40 fucking stations. What do you mean?
I was like, are you kidding me?
Serious. And Monique, what Cabbie's saying is Opie and Anthony, when David Lee Roth got fired, Opie and Anthony took over for David Lee Roth. They did their show for 3 hours, I believe, on K-Rock, and then they did a thing called the walk over to XM.
Exactly. But I couldn't, I was an afternoon guy, I was a night guy. I was just a regular guy at K-Rock. And this is when XM first started. I interviewed with Lee Abrams. He was running XM in D.C. He wanted to hire me to do both. And then, dude, I know all these radio guys. I know all of them, and I never burned bridges with any of them. But I'm going to tell you, I could have done both, but Chiazzano said, no, you're a personality here. You can't do both. And all these other DJs, Booker, Kane, Shook.
Right, everyone's doing it.
Dave, all these guys were doing it, and they didn't want me to do it because they knew my value. And dude, I'm not in radio. I might never do radio again. You know why? Because I'm a big fucking pimp, and they can all suck my asshole. Fuck that.
Say, Cabbie, what I love about you though is you're like a real rock guy. You have like a lot of it rock and roll integrity. Like,
oh yeah, because I'm gonna go play fucking Fresh Air Mornings like fucking Kane is right now in New York City.
But you weren't trying to be a stand-up. You weren't trying to. You wanted to be like. See, I think you missed it by 10 years. Like you would have been a great MTV VJ.
Yes,
they could have had you on. Like
I auditioned for it. I auditioned for the where they actually played videos.
Eddie, I know exactly. It's Metal Shop. Not fingers.
Yes, yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, yeah. I like Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk's fucking. He's legendary. I know Eddie Trunk, dude. I'm a music fan. It ain't just metal. I listen to everything. I listen to pop if it's good. I don't care.
Yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
What happened?
Most pop ain't good though.
No, most pop fucking sucks. Most pop is auto-tune bullshit by a bunch of prepubescent 15-year-old lesbians.
Wu-Tang, baby. Wu-Tang for the children.
Well, Justin Bieber is his beer can thick.
Oh, I saw that. I saw his
Yikes.
penis.
That's gross.
I don't think that's gross.
Justin Bieber takes a beer can up his ass. What?
No,
Justin Bieber is really fucking well hung. He's like laptop
Oh
thick.
yeah, I saw the pictures. My wife actually made me pull it up on the internet. She goes, I can't find the pictures. And yeah, that dude's got a fucking hammer, doesn't he?
I'll forward it to you.
You're married.
Well, he's also about, what is he? He's like Rocco Siffredi. He's like 5'5" and like fucking 130.
Yeah.
Except he can.
I mean, if I shrunk about fucking 10 inches and lost about 150 pounds, I'd probably have a fucking 10-inch cock as well. Come on. It's not fair.
You know what? But he was castrated a long time ago, so he still sounds like a fucking high-pitched girl.
Yeah, but they say he's going to be a billionaire by the time he's 30.
Oh,
so that's not even more
it's
fair.
True.
He's got a huge cock and he's super rich.
What did you want?
Dude, I hope he goes to the fucking bunny ranch.
Getting that next
We can hook him up with fucking Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah, really?
I can't believe that hasn't happened. I hope he's linked to Lamar Odom.
Lamar Odom is.
I feel sad for Lamar, dude. They say he was like the nicest guy in the world, and he got wrangled up by that fucking horse slang fucking tramp.
I
Tell
agree
us
with you.
how you're really
Those Armenian cunts.
Really? Did you see them in
Dude,
Armenia?
they are the fucking. When the world ends, they're going to be the ones like scabbarding around like the cockroaches.
The cockroaches, exactly. The rats of the world will survive, and they are them for sure.
Well, we can thank Ryan Seacrest for that.
Another fucker.
How about the fact that Khloe Kardashian tried to bust in the ER with cameras?
No.
Oh, I read that.
You guys didn't see that?
I did.
My wife, she sends me the shit. Like, she's still my producer. She sends me the shit. Khloe Kardashian tried to crack in the ER room with the E cameras and fought with doctors to film it for Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
To the rescue. That hermaphrodite's going to get rid of his brain damage.
The Armenian genocide did not do its job. I'm just fucking telling you, because they should all be fucking destroyed. Every one of them.
Honestly, I hope Lamar pulls out of it.
So do I.
Just so he can like go on some homicidal binge and kill them all.
So I wanna swing around to.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We love digression.
Monique's about to do a Lord Desac podcast, Cabbie, so don't feel so bad.
Let's hope he's next. He should have been before Lamar.
What the fuck does he do for a living? Seriously, what allows him to drive a fucking
off
Bentley?
The feet of the Kardashians, bro.
Oh my God!
He's Bruce Wayne with alive parents.
Exactly.
I thought he killed his parents.
Oh, I thought he did too. I thought his parents. Oh, his dad died, and
that was recently, though, right?
That was recently.
No, but hang on, Tara, didn't Disick's parents both die?
Listen.
Yeah, they both kicked. They both kicked within like a month of each other.
Really?
They were probably poisoned by the Kardashians.
got Juliana Rancic over there.
Yeah.
I love that gossip.
Wait, did you say the living praying mantis from fucking E?
Cabbie knows that. Oh,
Jesus
God,
Christ.
yes, I did.
She is the most anorexic human being I have ever fucking seen in my life.
Dude, she's from that alien superstar they just found outside the Milky Way. You didn't read about that?
Yes.
She is like that fucking thing that comes out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like that first thing that comes out, just like a stick figure with a big fucking head. She's disgusting.
Her last name is perfect for her
Rancid.
because she is rancid.
She is fucking rancid. How she made it in life is beyond me. But
Hey,
what?
I just want to ask, Cabbie. I didn't know you were married.
Yeah, we didn't
How long
know.
have you been married?
Oh well, it's an alien marriage.
What does that mean? You pulled her in from Colombia? Like, what does that mean?
No, we've been together a very long time, and we got married when our souls met when we first looked in each other's eyes.
Oh, geez. So he's not married. He just calls her his wife.
Is this?
We're domestic partners in the state of New York.
Oh, good.
But due to my situation years ago with the IRS, I'm still trying to finish that out. We're just happily married. So let us be married and live.
Amen.
Why do you have to dig into my Amish relationship?
Not at all. Hey, can I ask you this?
Yes, you can, Grace. Yes, you can.
I was. Don't start, meanie.
What? Go.
Way mean girl. Okay, Cabbie, I was reading on, what is it that? Mark's Friggin.
Don't believe anything that you read.
No, Mark's Friggin.
Mark Friggin. Yeah, I've had interactions with that dude. He's a cool guy. He's very thorough in his description verbally.
He's a fucking court stenographer. What the fuck does he do?
He does.
Well, there you go.
Now he does it still today when it's boring. But I just want to say, they allegedly put you with your birth mom. Is that true? That really happened.
Yeah, they searched her out and they
found her, and we're still close. And she's a great woman. I had tried unsuccessfully to find her. Not hardcore, but that was one of the coolest things that Howard and Gary did, and that was very nice of them. Because when I first went in there and they asked me my story, I told them I was adopted, and that I had a pretty rough childhood with my former family that had adopted me, and they found her, and we got reunited, and yeah.
You know what?
And my mom's very cool. I got a cool mom.
My balls, because I am positive that some sponsor paid for them to actually get the fucking money to do this, because you, like everybody else we interview on this fucking show, were purely providing content that made the show what it was.
I wouldn't doubt it, because they used a website to do it. I remember the website. What the hell was the name of it? Kinsolving.com. Because at the time, they did things like that, but it was very hard because I was adopted through Catholic Charities.
Horrible.
And they're supposed to keep everything secret.
Yeah, dude, the Catholics, are you fucking kidding me?
But now they can't. It's different laws. Really? Today?
Absolutely. If a woman puts a baby up for adoption and she wants absolutely nothing to be revealed, they still have to be able to do that.
I didn't know that.
You don't want it. It's all about being litigious.
Yeah,
you don't want anybody coming after.
It's tough. I know it wasn't cheap, but I'm sure, dude, come on.
It was paid for.
But you're talking about at that time when I was on that show. You're talking early 2000s. You're talking when that was at its prime, man. He had fucking, on a daily basis, he had 18 million listeners. I don't think he has a million now.
No, I don't think so either.
I agree.
I don't even listen to the show. I read the tea leaves online. Because I have satellite in my car, but I don't listen to talk radio just because most of drivel is just, and even when I was in radio, I didn't listen to the show. And
Grace doesn't either. She never listens to herself.
I didn't listen to that show because we didn't have that show.
Cabbie, you guys have a great rock scene in Minneapolis. Isn't it like the Replacements are out of there?
100%. Husker Du.
Yeah,
Forget it.
Lots of
It's an
lesbians in
underrated
Minneapolis.
rock scene. It's a huge. Prince is out of there.
Prince, dude, I used to go literally, and I'd drop people off at his studios out in Chanhassen, and he would do after shows. I saw a couple of his late night after shows where if you got in, you were lucky enough to get in after the bars closed in Minneapolis at 1 o'clock. You got there by 2. He would do an after show fully catered until like 4 or 5 in the morning, and he would play. Him and himself and a few of his friends would jam for hours and play everything. It was amazing. Amazing.
By the way, you're not just Cabbie on Twitter. You're _Cabbie. Just so everybody knows,
somebody
it's
had
not
it.
just pure
like
Cabbie.
I said, I got on social media late. Somebody had it. Some guy. I'm not a Twitter as much. I'm a little more on the Facebooks.
I know, but you twat with me all the time, so I appreciate that.
Well, that's where you found me.
I appreciate twats from Cabbie.
Yeah, I'll twat you.
I do want to get into the porn thing because I really felt like you got a really fucking bad rap with that. I just want to know how it all came back, and I want to talk about what happened at that time and the fact that you had asked permission and he said it was okay. I want to go a little forward to them basically ripping you a new asshole when Ron Jeremy was in studio and then come back.
Well, when Ron Jeremy threw me under the bus because he was never supposed to talk about it, and he put it in his fucking book, I brought it up because a guy came to me and said, hey, how about we do this? You have access to this thing. Let's film this thing there. We'll shoot it. We'll do it after hours. You got access. I said, okay, let's try it out. Let's do it. We did it. A lot of people knew about it. People don't like some of the things I'll say, but 100% I am honest, man. And it's to a fault. It put me in prison, for God's sakes. Almost for 10 years. The guy wanted to go for 30 for not filing my taxes. But that's neither here nor there.
People are murdering people.
So let me finish. So a guy came to me and said, well, let's film this thing there. We'll do some things. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to bring it up on the show. I'm going to ask. And I can almost recite word for word what Howard said. He said, yo, you could do some of that here. I said, okay. And I said, fuck it. I got his permission. We did it. And then I got worried because twofold. I didn't want to lose my job because I realized I had Howard's permission, but I didn't have my boss's permission.
Right.
And I knew that Viacom was bigger than Howard. So I said, you know what? I told the guy, look, man, and then I saw Ron Jeremy's edit because he gave it to Ron Jeremy to edit. And no offense, I love Ron, but dude, it was all about Ron, and it was really cheesy. I love Ron. I love Ron, but it was just...
Ew.
I mean, I don't know if you realize, but he used you as a conduit to get on the Stern Show. He'd never been on the Stern Show up until that point.
Of course he did. You know how many people tried to use me to get on the fucking Stern Show?
He needed you to get on that show. For whatever reason, Howard just didn't want to have him on.
And they wanted that controversy, and that's why they had him on. They wanted
and that's
to
why he put it in his book.
Yeah, of course. I want to play the tape so that we can hear a little bit of that.
Play it. Because you know what? The Stern Show would never play it again.
Never.
No, all that audio's gone. That's
so
completely...
let's go with the denial, and then let's go with the truth. Go for it, Caps.
Okay.
At one point, I told you, Howard, I want to make a porno in your studio. And you said yes.
No, I said yes. But in a joking way or in a serious way?
I asked you.
Oh, stop it.
Sure,
You're being silly. You're being silly.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that. Did you recall anything like that, Robin?
No.
Where I said, yes, go shoot a porno? No one asked
Knowing
me.
you, I don't know that you could ever say yes to
I
that.
asked you and you said yes.
Oh, Cabbie, come on. Don't insult my intelligence.
Wow.
Okay, so there he is saying, you know, you're full of shit. I have a guest in studio who's telling me exactly what you fucking did. And you're saying, no, you told me we could do this. And then we scoured the internet. Thank God for YouTube. And found this little tidbit. Go for it, Caps.
Well, if you come in here and you tell me you're in a porno, I bet you there's enough people who would go see that.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Can I film it in your studio?
You want to film a porno in my studio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd let you do that if Chiasano says all right.
Something that wasn't is now.
I don't think Chiasano will let it.
Okay. there was no facetiousness or joking in his voice.
In one breath, years later, he says he never fucking said it, but he said it.
Yeah, of course he fucking said it.
He's a hypocrite and a liar and a fucking sellout.
Absolutely. He's a total fucking sellout. That's what we're all about on this goddamn show. Is the fact that, you know, the show that you were on, that time period was the best fucking years of that show. And now...
Because who came in there and was real and never fucking bullshitted?
Nobody. Well, Artie came on and was real for the first, year, but then the next year, it was repeat Artie.
I love Artie, man, and I feel bad what happened with him. And I actually met with Artie last year sometime about the app, actually. We were talking about the app. It was right when his podcast was beginning. I don't ever question Artie's integrity.
Us either.
And you know what? I think Jackie got fucked.
We do too.
I think Stuttering John walked at the right time.
Yeah, well, I agree with everything you just said. We've gone over these talking points in multiplicity, Michael Keaton aside, at exactly what you said. I mean, to the letter.
And why do you think I walked from radio, dude? When they fucked my friend who was an advertiser who was going to spend millions of dollars in advertising, and they fucking buried him. And I was like, you know what? This is what it's become, and this is what radio is. I was like, you know what? This is not what I signed up for. I didn't get into the business for this.
But Cabbie, I'm still not getting
bullshit.
I'm still not getting why that whole thing was your fault. Like how it became.
Well, of course it's my fault because I was just crazy Cabbie. I was a fucking.
You're the fall guy.
I was the loose cannon. I was something they could blame. Something they could blame.
When have you ever seen Howard take accountability for anything?
Never.
Never.
I just want to say...
Whether it's 1988 or 2015, when has he ever taken accountability?
John,
Never.
I just want to say something. And this is my... Not to be rotten, but I have to go to this. Howard really did not think you were going to do that. He said, Tom Chiasano, you have to go to him. It would never be allowed. So I'm talking about the advertising deal where
you know what?
I'm talking about the porno. I'm talking about the porno. Fuck the advertising. I'm talking about the porno. Howard would not want anyone banging, slanging, schmunging, flunging, doing all that gross stuff in there.
On his
I'm
chair.
sorry.
I get that.
I wouldn't. So,
but he wasn't being facetious when he said what he said. There was no joking.
Exactly. He was doing what he always does. He said, I'd allow it, yet you got to get Tom's permission.
Well, because Tom's the bad guy. Tom is the fall guy for everything fucked up.
But why did you think...
And on some levels, he knew saying it to the wild man in the station. Who was the wild man?
You?
Oh, yeah.
Really, you were. I mean, he wouldn't. Tom Chiasano got blamed for Billy fucking West, for Christ's sake. You really think Tom controlled that?
We have porno in his studio.
We have this conversation all the time. I mean, let's be honest. And even Cabbie said it. You know what? Plenty of people have fucked in your studio. And I bet you that's true because you know what? Who gives the fuck? Here you are after hours. It's completely dark. You're up there with your girlfriend.
Would you want that?
Oh, my God. You know how many people fucked in that building? It's a radio station, for God's sake.
You know how many offices I
worked in 3 different radio stations.
Yes,
that's what people
too,
did.
But
They were DJs, for God's sakes.
Of course.
I would be on the air and fucking DJs would bring people up and fuck in the green room.
Yes,
He's right. He's right.
Yeah, I'm just going to say. Why?
Just to say they fucked in Howard's green room.
Of course. But I'm just saying this. What would be the big deal that would make somebody want to watch a porno just because that gross Ron Jeremy is fucking Tabitha Stevens over Howard's console?
Exactly that reason.
By
exactly
the way,
what you just fucking said.
They got paid. Trust me.
Yeah, they did get paid. Of course they did. Who would
I know they got fucking paid.
Of course.
I know they got paid.
Cabbie
and that was bullshit too. Like, really? Are you fucking serious? Because I have the fucking the form that they have to sign for the release.
What?
They sign a release unless they got paid.
Yep, NDA.
You know,
no, not the non-disclosure. I forget the number, the document that in porn you have to sign the. I forget. Whatever. There's a.
I do not have genital warts or AIDS document.
And I can't release this footage unless you're over 18, and no porn star ever signs it unless they get fucking cash in hand.
See, my ass doesn't leak
those
documents.
Fuckers lie. So fuck you, Ron Jeremy. Fuck you, Tabitha Stevens. You fucking shriveled up fucks.
Let me tell you something, Cabbie.
Ron Jeremy can't keep his dick hard unless he holds it. So fuck you. He doesn't pay for anything, and he eats everything.
Yep.
He was actually, when he was young, like if you look at the pictures when he was young and thin.
No,
but I'm just saying, he wasn't so disgusting. He looked like an Italian guy with a huge cock.
No.
I hate huge cock.
He's like, he would be like fucking Mario Brothers hitting fucking things with his penis instead of a goddamn hammer. He's like a gindaloon, like a stinky fucking Judaloon. He is. He's like a disgusting animal.
Cabbie's making him out to be Marlon Brando and all the water.
I could have been someone. I was a contender.
He's the biggest guy in fucking porn. Honestly.
Big cocks. Yeah.
Well, he looks more like Marlon Brando right before he died right now.
It's like Dominic Barbara. Oh, what happened to Dominic Barbara? Do you know?
What didn't happen to him?
He's walking around with his cock in his hand.
Well, Dominic Barbara, his last 5 years.
I'm just thinking that Ron Jeremy defies all logic laws when it comes to Jewish penis. That's all I'm going to say.
Isn't
What do you
Dominic Barbara like
Jewish
homeless?
penis?
Oh, yeah, Dominic Barbara is homeless. Yeah.
That's a whole other show, and we'd love to have you on for
Jewish
it.
penis.
I feel bad. He was actually the lawyer who helped me out when my fucking lawyer got thrown out of court by the judge before I got sentenced.
Oh, that's right.
He had a soft spot for you. I know.
Soft spot.
Well, he was a good dude. I feel bad for him. He had some issue. I don't know what was it, pills or something, or
he fucked up
twice or overspending, and he's another guy that got shit all over by Howard.
Of course. Of course.
So
let's get to Beth.
No. Okay, I got one more thing with the porn because I got to stick with this for a second.
All right.
And I really have to stick it to you on this one because you're like Beavis and Butthead tonight. What's with you? So I was listening to the Opie and Anthony show, and you know where I'm fucking going with this.
Yeah.
So can you just and they tried to scrub it and kind of push that under the rug, but can you give us a little bit more detail on what the fuck you were talking about on that show? Hold on. I got a clip, and then we'll come to it. Go, Caps.
All right.
F. Howard, and I about 2 years ago I received some pictures of Howard that are very unbecoming. Him naked. Does that make sense? And a video. Ew. And I have it. And I've been holding it for 2 years. And I'm talking to lawyers. And
Why do you got naked pictures of Howard?
Yeah, how did this come about? Somebody sent it to me.
So I need to delve into that just a snurch because
I've explained it and I've talked about it and
I've never heard
everything.
it. No.
Everything I've said about it is it's what it is, and it's all gone.
Yeah,
we've never heard it.
Yeah, we don't know because this is the only tape that I was able to find about it. So I just need a little clip notes.
No, I'm just gonna leave it at
Cliff notes, Cabbie.
Somebody sent me something, and somebody said they filmed something, and I saw it, and I destroyed it. I talked to my mother, and she said get rid of it.
Why? Cabbie, that's in between Allison and Beth, like just before they became the skeleton twins. This is like
I'm going to say exactly what I just said and say let's just.
No, I respect that. I'm not going
to because he did me a solid. He never hurt my radio career, and he was not a shitty man. He kind of fucked a friend of mine, but I'm not going to. I would never want somebody to do that to me.
Well, but you let the fucking cat out of the bag. I mean, why would you even do that to begin with?
I would never. That's not.
That goes
I'm
back
not
to
dirty.
Yeah,
I'm a clean person.
But you get pissed.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
You know what though? I'm a clean person. I'm not going to get fucking paid like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I
get
hear
paid
you.
clean.
Well, one thing
Because karma's a bitch in this universe.
Yeah, I know. We hear you. We hear you.
You know what I thought? I thought just release them. It's Halloween. Let's see Howard naked. It's gross, frightening. Ew.
Scare the shit out of young
Really?
children. We could bring those little fucking snot bags back from AGT.
I'm a general believer in the karma of the universe, and I
feel bad about that. I really don't, because I think so many shitty people get away with everything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Guess his own karma will catch up to him.
I think so.
I'm not gonna be the deliverer. I'm not the deliverer of someone else's shit.
Well,
one more thing about that.
I don't have that power. Does that make sense?
Yes,
it kind of does, but you
put it out there.
You put it out there. You started it.
Yeah, I put it out there just so people, dude. Listen, everybody's got a fucking deliverer. It ain't me. It ain't gonna be me.
All right.
Can I say this to you? This is one thing I always pondered, and I thought, because you did say this and sort of threaten in some sort of manner, I thought Howard might have paid you a few bucks.
Nothing at all.
Nah?
Fuck no.
No.
You don't think he's kind of afraid of you? There's a sort of where the bodies are buried kind of undertones with everything.
Not at all.
I feel like he's afraid of you.
I think so
there's something
too.
going on.
Me too.
I do too.
I really believe there's somewhere
Not
the
at
bodies
all.
are buried. I'm getting that intonation from for the clips I listen to. There's something going on. They don't he would not have you on that much and you were able to kind of have a run of the place and stuff.
Yeah.
He usually limits appearances, and you kind of came in.
He told me he liked what I did. He said I was entertaining.
I believe it. And you
I think he liked that people fucking were mad or angry when I came in, because that's
you provided really good content. So let's talk about those Mad Tear days, because we go on this website where we usually chat about Howard and things that have happened in the past and blah blah blah, and we always wondered what your specific relationship was to Beth and how he met her, and where you were during those.
I was there
days.
the night. I was there. She walked past me to see the wig.
No, she didn't.
I was meeting with Booker and Howard. We were going out for drinks. Not many times like that happened, and she was there, and she, mainlined.
So was it at a club, or was it at a party, or what?
It was at a bar. It was at the Mercer Hotel.
Yeah, that backs what Monique. Booker was married to Jennifer Lopez's sister, Linda.
Yes.
Oh,
so
right.
That's the scene you're talking about. So there's a whole conduit there.
Yes.
And that's how Cabbie and Kane actually, I remember, I'll never forget, I don't know why I remember this dumb shit.
You always do.
When Ben Affleck was promoting Daredevil, they got him on.
He wears a wig.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you find more?
Wig theory.
Wig-wearing hump.
What about Beth?
Yeah. So what do you think of her? And what do you think her effect has been on the show?
I never really had. I had minimal interaction. I mean, I did. She seemed nice. She probably wanted me, but I wasn't a 100 millionaire. That's the truth. I'm a more affable, entertaining gentleman.
Absolutely.
And
he's very introverted.
He's rich and famous, so who are you going to go for?
Right.
If you're a tall, striking blonde with a Winnie face.
Hey.
My wife just said, well, thank God. She's not my type, bro. I lived around blondes in Minnesota for, fucking 30 some years. I've seen the type, and I knew what she was going for.
Of course.
the whole thing was, she said she did not know it was Howard.
Yeah, she didn't know who he was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what did she think it was? Fucking Joey Ramone?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Was he even still alive at that moment?
No, he wasn't. He died.
Yeah, I'm sure she made the beeline for fucking Howard. How could she not?
Right. Was she going for Booker?
Yeah, right.
Me or Howard
Ralph.
Stern?
Ralph.
Really?
Really?
Was Ralph with you guys? That berry-faced fuck?
He said
Actually, I think he met us later. We went to some stupid club that was like, it was so loud and it was not, I don't do clubs.
Yeah,
and I
me
was like,
neither.
at that point, I was like, okay. And it was weird. Whenever you went somewhere with him, dude, it was so, I only went a few times and I was like, okay, this is not, like, I worked with the guy. I never was a sycophant. I was an associate in the sense of I knew what my relationship with him was.
Right.
I mean, we were friendly, but we weren't like fucking best friends. I knew that.
Like you were really
Like
close.
he was a tool I was using, and I was a tool he used.
Right.
Like I got that. I mean, he invited me out to a couple things. I think he invited me to some birthday dinner one time, and I declined it. Like, dude, I didn't fucking suck his dick. I didn't want to hang out with him every second like everybody else did. That's not who I am. I'm not a person who goes out and fucking tries to hang out with everybody. I don't go to the club every night. I like to spend time with my wife and my fucking dog.
So was it a
That's what I
scene?
do.
Was it a scene when you would go out with Howard? Was it like all these
dude,
girls?
It was everybody. It's this whole fucking thing, bro. It just wasn't. Nah, man. You can't have a comment. I mean, you could talk to him briefly, but you can't. Like, I like to. When I go out with a friend, which I don't have many because I don't really like people except for my wife and my dog. I have a few friends, but I want to talk to you. You know, I don't want to fucking, everybody's like trying to get near you and fucking whatever it is.
Impress
Get a picture
you.
and autograph.
All that
Fuck
shit.
that. Really?
Did you go to the strip clubs with him? Because that was like, Chauncey used to tell us all about how that was such a big part of his mad tear
We went
days.
to the strip club to celebrate. I think it was after the fight. And I'm not a strip club guy, and everybody said I was a fag because I didn't want to hang out at Scores. I wanted to leave.
I know, right?
I didn't want to fucking sit there with a bunch of smelly Russian strippers. No offense to smelly Russian strippers.
You said they were ugly
no
and they had
offense.
body odor.
No offense to smelly Russian strippers.
Yes,
But
body
it was
odor.
it was like middle of the day, and they closed the place down for us. But it was like, dude, that's not my scene. I like my girl. I would rather watch her strip, and I would rather give her money to go out and buy a fucking handbag than give some fucking whore who I know I'm not going to fuck. I worked at a porn shop when I was 18. They told me, don't ever give money to strippers because you ain't ever going to fuck them.
Never. Give him money, no fucking involved.
Or big money.
Svetlana's not going to fuck you. Sorry. Do you think
They're fucking skanks.
Do you think that story about Howard buying a Mercedes for a stripper was true?
I don't know.
Honestly.
I never heard it. So
I do.
Oh, really? It was in page
100%.
6. It was like a big thing.
Richard Johnson.
Richard Johnson blew that up.
He had a threesome. He admitted it to it.
Who did?
Howard. He admitted that he had a threesome during his
So what were their
marriage.
names? Fucking Ralph and Jim?
Seriously, what the fuck was Ralph? What the fuck with Ralph? Do you know
Ralph
that
and Ronnie.
Do you know that Ralph gets a 401k from 112 Productions? He's actually an invested.
So it's Beth.
Beth and Ralph are the two employees of 112 Productions, plus a lawyer out in Long Island, and they get 401ks with profit sharing.
It's 401 Special K if it's Beth.
Hey, you got to, those are the people closest to him. I guess he's taking.
Did you ever see any?
I'm sure she's getting more than a 401k from Howard.
She's getting a lot.
Jesus, is she ever?
Did you ever get any, like, Howard, his show nowadays, he's like evolved. So he doesn't do any.
Is that what they call it? Evolved?
Yes,
Evolved.
that's exactly what they call it.
Called boring. He watches The Bachelor. He obsesses about male penis size. He had who is the best black big beer can thick penis. Did you ever get a homo vibe from Howard? Because we do.
We just had a whole discussion about how Ralph is fucking him up the ass. What do you think? What do you think the homo vibe is?
No. I mean, for real.
Well, he was the only one who didn't want to take a lie detector test.
That's
when
right.
I brought that whole thing
was
up.
that it?
Yeah, that's right. No, he was the only one. Did you know anything about this new person that's there, Marcy Turk? She's like 34 years old.
I mean, I've read, but I don't know. Isn't it like his life coach or something?
Exactly. We did a whole episode about getting things done. And
Isn't a life coach for a man like a guy walking around with like a butt plug up his ass?
Yes. Howard has his purse.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty. I don't know.
He wears his Mancier and his Myrtle and his Manties. He's very, very effeminate.
I don't think he's effeminate. I
do.
I see many men. I mean, I work in the garment center, so I see all these fucking guys wearing that shit.
I work in the entertainment field. I know all of it. Howard is more of a chick than we are. Let's face it.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, please.
I mean, look at it like this, though. I mean, I'm not defending the guy.
Yes, you are.
You got to look at it like Metallica. Is he going to make master puppets, over and over again? I mean, I get it on some levels, but on the other level, he's got to cater to his audience or just fucking quit making music at some point.
I have a question for you. What do you think the future of Howard Stern is? Like, do you think he's going to re-sign with Sirius?
Well, at some point, dude, just go fucking spend your money and enjoy your life.
Really?
I mean, just stop. Like, it's like the whole world's gotten this whole PC thing and gun control and everybody trying to tell everybody what to do and how to fucking laugh and what's funny and what's not. Dude, everybody just stop. Just fucking everybody stop, okay? You know what? When a kid shoots up a school or goes lunatic and you're going to blame this or you're going to blame... Dude, stop. It's like the fucking Kardashians. Like, really? That's entertainment?
Yes.
It all starts. They're famous for nothing.
Exactly.
The fame is discovering an alien planet somewhere. How about that's famous?
You think we're Cabbie? You're a psychology guy now. We're a Schadenfreude culture. It's all we care about is watching other people fail.
Well, not we, but it's
sad
to the majority, man.
I'm not, but somehow these twats have 50 billion followers on Twitter, and somebody's got to be doing it.
Well, how about everybody put their fucking phone down and start talking to each other like humanity again?
No, that's not going to happen.
Cabbie, I got to tell you, I blame you. It's almost more of a backward compliment for the gentrification of Williamsburg. You were the first person of note. That fucking place went from gangs and Molotov cocktails to
Monique.
Oh, you live there?
Dude, and you know what's funny? That building I stood on 9/11.
Yeah.
I left that building because right after that happened, that fucking bitch doubled my fucking rent.
Oh, cunt.
I didn't know it was a scene. I didn't know it was a scene until that fucking day. I learned the term teabag from you. I'd never heard teabag until you actually acted it out. You actually dropped trowel and lowered your sack down and showed me what I did. To this day, I honestly did not know the term until Cabbie explained it to me.
And by the way,
Cabbie, how about this? I almost killed a woman on that building that morning when she fucking said, "See this? We deserve this." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I almost threw her off the building. She was some artist cunt in that fucking building.
And by the way, Cabbie, when you were on 9/11, you actually really added insightful and knowledgeable content to that show. So I really appreciate that.
That might have been him at his best.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
so. You were great.
You know what?
That was.
Here's the funny thing. That was what I always wanted to do. I wanted to be a radio broadcaster. And that was the day that I actually was a broadcaster.
Yeah.
You were like the Stern Show's version of Arthur Kent, the Scud Stud, that day. You were the,
The Scud. Dude, I was in the Gulf War. I remember the Scud. I got poisoned by poison gas in the fucking first Gulf War, motherfucker. I'm 100% disabled from that shit. That's no lie. And I'm half retarded. Check it out. Another Williamsburg story. When my wife when I first met my wife. She used to come over, and the building I lived in was an old textile factory.
Where'd you live?
And there were these huge needles in the wood floors, and you'd almost step on them.
Oh.
And then there was these huge cockroaches, and I'd be like, no, they're water bugs.
Yeah, they are water.
Dude, they were the size of my hand on the wall because I didn't want her to freak out because she hates bugs.
Cabbie, what street did you live on in Williamsburg?
I lived on fucking Broadway, right at Kent, right down on the fucking. I lived right down from Peter Luger's.
Oh, I know the neighborhood. It was still full of Schwarzes at the time.
Oh, are you kidding me? They were everywhere. They would fucking walk their broods like fucking 15 kids in their wool dresses and their wigs.
Schwarzes and Hasidims, a perfect combination.
Schwarzes are black people, right?
Schwarzidums.
It was insane. It was insanity.
Only the dude from Minnesota can go, they're everywhere.
They were everywhere. Dude, when I first moved there, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, everywhere. Like roaches, honestly, with wigs. Roaches with wigs. It was
They were
disgusting.
like water bugs.
Yes. And they spawn. They spawn so much. They're like a bunch of fucking hemophiliac bifocal wearing fucking
Oh my God. Howard would be proud.
No, he would be very ashamed. You can't
All right, Cabbie, we're going to wrap up with you now.
Love you.
Yes, of course we do.
I appreciate the time. Scoutit.us, scoutit.me.
Underscore Cabbie at
hope
Twitter.
You enjoyed it. Well,
Yes.
we had a good time.
We did. Thank you.
I hope we thrashed everybody who deserved it.
Of course we did. Awesome.
You guys were great. And
okay.
if you want me to
We'd love to
call in
have
and
you.
fucking crash out your party and thrash somebody, I'm always down for a good
Thank
fucking,
you.
know.
That'd be fab. Thanks,
Have a great
Lee.
night.
All right.
Bye.
Take care,
Bye.
people.
Thank you.
Be well. God bless.
You
Bye.
too.
You too.
Bye.
All right.
Well, that
Cabbie.
was quite an evening.
That was
You know,
great.
we never got into his tax evasion. I wanted to tell him my tax skills. I make Wesley Snipes look like H&R Block and nothing. I would have been worse. I would have been worse. We never. I wanted to go. Next time we have him on, we got to go into the prison thing. That's such a long thing.
You know what?
I didn't want-
He was talking about it on some other podcast, and he said he really didn't want to give away his prison stories.
He said that
really
to us
wanted
right
to.
now
He
as
really
well.
wanted to write a book about it and
All right,
really
all right.
kind of, I guess, face his demons or whatever.
You know how much I'm obsessed with prison.
I know.
You know.
When you want to be in solitary confinement.
All right, John, are you a little proud of me with my fantasy football team?
Very much so. I told you I'm rooting for you before me. I want you to win. I might even sabotage my own team and just start trading you.
To me.
Yes, it was a separate email.
I did.
I put in Drew Brees when I wasn't really sure he was going to be playing, and he was still a little bit injured. And I have this McCowan guy who went for like 36 fucking points this week.
He had the highest number of passing yards in the history of the Cleveland Browns since like fucking Otto Graham, and you call him this McGowan guy. For all you know, he's Rose McGowan, for Christ's sake.
I only put him in because Brees had an injured fucking shoulder. But it's so funny. None of us are talking about it.
To you mastering all this. It's so easy. I can't stand when people are afraid of fantasy football. It's once a week. It's not. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
If I can do it, anyone can do it. I mean, let's be honest. I suck.
I know. I was doing it at 16 years old.
Oh fuck! I didn't set my team this week.
It doesn't matter because unless you have someone on New Orleans or Atlanta, it doesn't. They don't lock you out until Sunday at 1.
But we're not.
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I thought we had to be locked in by like Thursday night, or else we were fucked. I didn't know because
Thursday night football. They got so much complaints from people. In the fantasy scene that was going to screw up, so they decided they're not going to lock you out Thursday, but they will continue to do it on it. They won't even do it. I'll tell you what. Even when they go to Saturday games,
would you stop talking, Grace? Jesus Christ, she babbles into every portion of conversation.
No,
I don't even think you realize you're doing it. You slightly Tourette'sy. You know, Cabbie's talking about, he's like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, uh-huh, ugh, hate him. Really? Ugh, what? You don't really should do it, but you do it the whole conversation. You just babble. You just go.
It's not babbling. It's reacting.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, I'm trying to be constructive. You don't listen to yourself on the podcast, so you don't know you're doing it until I tell you that you're doing it. So now I'm telling you that you're doing it.
Can't one react?
No, not always. You do it all the time. Yes,
react.
you do. You do. I swear to you. Every 2 seconds. See what you're doing right now? That's what you do through the whole fucking conversation. Sorry. Really? No. Kidding. All right. Oh, I do have fucking players tonight. God damn it.
The lineup will just stay as it is.
Oh, God damn it. By the way, I have, see, this is what happens when your father passes away. I have 2 players on bye week. I'm dead. Dead in the water.
No, you could switch out. You could save that.
Can I switch out?
Yeah, because you could drop people in between today and Sunday and make up for it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay, great. Because I have no tight end and no kicker.
Well, the kicker could be tough. The kicker could be a problem.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to dig.
Where you going?
That, but you could.
I'm done. Aren't we done?
But you know what, Monique? There's weeks where the kicker means shit. There's times where he doesn't kick a field goal. They really don't matter a lot of times, so it may not be an issue. He might not do anything.
Why do I care about fantasy football? I have nothing to add. Who really cares?
Oh.
You're not taping this for a show.
No. Just taping it for the sake of taping it. That's all.
15 million people care, Grace.
15. He said, Grace is leaving. She's mad at me now. Yes, you are. You're mad at me. I'm not going to put any of this on.
You're a fucking fantasy club fucking call.
She's not even on mic. She's.
The sound sounds awesome with her like way and having.
I called him out.
On what?
Yeah, well, he was wrong. Howard didn't say, oh, do a porno. I wanted to say, where was it going to sell? Why did you even think to do a porno? And, of course, Howard didn't give you permission. You mentioned it, but he didn't give you permission.
Well, also a supposed germaphobe, too, is
You're
never
not even
going to let that
listening.
go
You can't
down.
even hear what he's saying to you. She's talking.
Germaphobe.
She's pissed at me. She's pissed at me. So what? So what?
Tell her it's not going in.
Ask Boy M.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't come back.
Well, we're not talking wrestling, so he doesn't care about any of our conversation. All right. Look, Grace already has a coat on. She's out the door. We didn't do a weekend review. So say goodnight. Get on the fucking thing and at least say goodnight.
Tell her to wrap up. I had a good blind Instagram photo of Beth's blind cat, though.
What? Say again? What?
I had an Instagram of Beth's. She got another blind cat. Are you aware of that?
That's really sad.
It's like your 8th blind cat.
Insert blind cat. Beth Ostrowski.
Because it really, my reaction was like, oh my God.
Helen Keller, the Cat Institute.
She's like the Pied Piper of fucking miscreants. Like I
want to beat her face.
I genuinely, because he's very important to this segment because I know she's a cat person. I really want everyone's real time reaction seeing this cat. Did you guys see the cat photo?
No, let's pull it up. Where is it?
Okay, well, let's get back to the show and then you can do it formally because I feel like it ruins it if you see it beforehand and then try to cover it on the.
Oh, babe, I'm already taping, so we can just do it whenever. Tell me where I can find.
You didn't do the hey, we're back.
No, because it's all fucking fantasy, fucking football. Who the fuck cares
Yeah, we're not putting the fantasy football. We might do her walkout, but I don't think we're doing.
Well, I know. I think we need to do that walkout. I
do. Mary Robin.
Let's start a fantasy steal your neighbor's newspaper league.
It was boring. I'm sorry. Everybody.
I'm sorry, Grace. Okay, who are we looking for? Fucking cornflake? Is that what I'm looking at?
Let me see. Oh, that's pitiful.
Jesus Christ.
Poor
Like a
blind Bella.
fucking Cyclops cat.
Poor blind Bella.
What is that?
Can't see.
Does Cornflake have like fake mink eyelashes on, or is that stitches?
Oh,
Like, what
that's
is
so
going
sad.
on here?
She's like
Oh, I could tear just looking at this freak. Why?
Kittenstein.
Who
That's
wants
horrible.
fucking blind cats?
Because she's a psycho fucking.
How do they even know where to pee?
No.
Do they pee on the?
It's instinctual.
Do they pee on the bride and groom teddy bears on that
I wish
fucking
they would.
rattan bed?
I wish they'd pee on Howard's rug.
What the fuck?
I feel sorry for these poor cats. Please.
I don't, because they should have been euthanized.
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
honestly. Jesus Christ. Oh, look at this. I can't look. I can't look.
I can't look.
Look at this fucking cat.
Oh. No.
Matilda says, I want to grow up and be just like Cornflake. Yeah, I want to be fucking blind and just shitting in a corner because I don't know where the fucking kitty litter is.
Poor Cornflake.
So let me just go over to the Louis Vuitton bag and take a fucking dump in it.
Oh,
I don't understand this cat.
No, they're instinctual. They're going to go into the litter box.
Oh, God, they're all starting to look the same. Every one of them
She's
is
a
looking
psycho.
exactly the
She's
same.
a psychopath.
Jesus
this
Christ.
is all promotion for her book.
She deserves to be in Jackie's Grey Gardens room. Remember?
I want him
Did
to
we
slap
forgot
her
about
face
that? Jackie had that whole Grey Gardens
Loved
room.
it.
I
Loved
loved it.
it.
It was fucking awesome. And we didn't take enough pictures. People
Oh,
were
we
asking
had.
for pictures, and you never sent me any of the pictures Jackie sent you, by the way. Just FYI.
You don't want to see him.
I do want to see them.
They're kind of vulgar.
I do want to see them.
Are you kidding?
I do want to
They're
see
rather perverted. He was very good, but not quite.
whose jumbo feet are these next to the cat? She's got fucking canoe feet, and she's got that bulbous pinky thing going on.
It's called a corn.
It's called, I wear shoes 2 sizes too small for me.
It's called a corn.
How much time do you think Buckwald's agency takes to make these fake followers?
Go boy M's.
Remember also that she named one of her cats Mr. Wonky, which I find ridiculously humorous.
Well, that's probably
That's too weird. That's too fucking coincidental.
That's a little too coincidental for me.
Of all words.
I agree with you. All right, I'm done with fucking Beth. I can't even stand to look at her.
I loathe her. I pity the poor pussies.
Who do you love? You look.
So true.
So true. Howard also went on a little Israel rant this week, but you know what? I was going to play some tape from it and talk about him with Roger Waters and how the PLO is actually coming after Sirius, and Sirius pulled a lot of last week's shows because of it.
And
but
the
you know
Sirius
what?
switchboard is getting pummeled with people complaining about trying
Exactly.
to
So I was talking about it yesterday that I wanted to pull some of it. I literally fell asleep to it because it was so fucking boring. So there's nothing
thing sucks.
There's nothing he said that was of any note whatsoever, honestly, you guys. And the fact that Sirius would puss out like that and pull the show just because of some pro-Israel rant that Howard went on is kind of shocking to me.
Total Hava Nagila and shit.
Yeah, but you know what? Listen, he's always been pro-Israel, as many wealthy Jews in New York are. I would say the middle-class Jew could give a rat's fucking ass about Israel. And by the way, I've been to Israel, and they are some of nastiest, better than you people.
They're chosen ones, Monique. They're the chosen ones.
I have ever met in my entire life. Honestly,
I dated in Israel.
They're nasty. Fucking Israelis
what he
are nasty.
said was
misogynistic assholes.
Oh, he's misogynist. He said, "Our vegetables are so much better than yours," and then he said, "You people in your salads like animals because they chop."
Oh yeah, fuck you, Shlomo. Honestly,
really?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, honey. He did. He's back in Israel now.
Really, go with the fucking Bedouins and knock yourself out in the middle of the fucking desert. Honestly. Okay, so guys, we may take a break next week. It depends on how I feel because I'm traveling and hopefully we'll be able to do a show, but I'm not necessarily sure. But the following week we have a really great guest and we're really excited, and so The kids are going to educate me on this boy and make sure that we do the best show we can. Johnny, is there anything you wanted to sing us out with?
I got multiple requests for this one for some reason. I'm not sure why this rings true, but you guys actually used the phrase a scant 90 seconds ago. So this is
throw the Jew down the well. What do you got, baby? I know this.
Funny how it seems, always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels, one toe to toe. This is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again. Where do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. I know this much is true. I know this much is true.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. We love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Amps.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Amps.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any further discussion at RadioGunk.com in the forum section. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RadioGunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so you know when we're doing a new show. Thanks.